what led me here, why I'm still here, all of those things. This is an interactive live, so if you have any comments of your own, feel free to put them in the comments. At the end or towards the end, I will allow some people up as guests to come up and kind of talk about why they specifically chose spirituality. Because I feel like we're all here for different reasons, or we all kind of woke up to spirituality because of different things. And we all found different things in spirituality that kind of have us here. Because spirituality is a choice that you kind of make every day, right? We definitely all have our own individual experiences. We have our own individual lifestyles. We have our own individual paths, right? And every day we are presented with different challenges. Every day we're presented with different experiences and things of that nature. And a lot of people think that, when it comes to spirituality, you just make the decision to be spiritual, or you wake up to the fact that you are a spiritual being, and then you just kind of go from there, right? But it's something that you have to choose every day. Yes, at the core of who we are spiritual beings. But to live this lifestyle, because I do believe spirituality is more than just a state of being, it is a lifestyle, right? And with any lifestyle, you have to choose to commit to that lifestyle on a daily basis. You have to wake up and choose to align with that lifestyle on a daily basis, right? And there's always something or someone or some type of challenge or some type of whatever that is occurring that is always putting you in a space where you're challenged on continuing with that lifestyle, right? So for me personally, for those who have been a part of my community for a while, y'all have probably heard the story 1,000 times at this point. But I grew up in the church. Most of us did, right? I grew up Pentecostal, okay? Which is, you got Christians, but then you got the different types of Christians, okay? I was a Pentecostal Christian, okay? So I was in church literally from the time the sun came up to the time the sun went down. I was in church 5 to 6 times or days out of the week. There was always something going on. Not only that, my grandmother was the pastor, and the first family, my family, was completely active in the church. Okay, we didn't have a choice on whether we were going to go to church or not, whether we wanted to be Christian or not, whether we were going to live that lifestyle. That was never a choice that I was able to make. Okay, if you was born into my family, that's what the fuck you was going to do. Okay, and you were going to not only just be a part of the family and be a part of the church, but you're going to be active. You're going to be doing something, okay? Whether you was going to usher, whether you were going to be in the children's choir or a part of the children's ministry, whether you were going to play an instrument, whether you were going to sing, whether you were going to, thank you for the gift, whether you were going to do whatever, okay? Like it was what it was. You was going to do something. Okay, you wasn't just going to come in church on a Sunday and sit around and not do shit, okay? So we were forced to be active. We were forced to participate, whether we wanted to or not. And I didn't have the opportunity to choose for myself what I wanted to practice and what I wanted my life to look like as far as my religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs. I didn't even know spirituality. I didn't consciously know. Let me say it like this. I didn't consciously know that spirituality was even a choice. Okay? The way that I was raised, the only choice was Christianity. Okay, that's just it. That's the only decision. That's the only choice. That's all you get to choose from. You're either going to heaven or you're going to hell. That's how it was broken down to me. So I never was put in that position like some people were, where they could just grow up and then just figure things out for themselves. I didn't have that opportunity. So with that being said, I found myself forcing myself to participate, forcing myself to believe, forcing myself to see it from their perspective. Even when internally I wasn't necessarily drawn towards a lot of stuff, even though internally I didn't align with a lot of things, there was still this need for me to push myself so that I could be accepted, okay? It started with wanting to be accepted, especially when it's a family thing, right? And for me, because I spent all of my time and all my days in the church, my family was my friends. So it's like when you're a child and you want to be accepted by the people in your space, or you want to be accepted by, the people at school or something. It was kind of the same mentality. Like, the family is doing this, so I have to force myself to like whatever this is, or to be a part of whatever this is. So the majority of my childhood, I was just forcing myself, to try to see it from their perspective, to try to accept what they was telling me I needed to accept, to do the things that they was telling me to do. Again, I didn't have the opportunity to make a decision for myself. It wasn't until I got I'm going to say my spiritual gifts started to show themselves very early. But growing up in church, nobody really teaches you about spiritual gifts, right? The only spiritual gifts, it's not even called spiritual gifts. The only gifts that you have, or that you can have in church, is prophecy, being a pastor, or being called to be a pastor or evangelist or minister or preacher or apostle or bishop, whatever. That was pretty much it. Other than that, it was singing. Can you sing? Can you do this? Can you do that? It was never like, oh, you have the gift of healing through, your hands. You have the gift of, foresight. You have your clairaudient, your clairsentient. Oh, you can astral project or astral travel. That wasn't a thing. You know what I'm saying? So I was astral traveling as a child a lot, and I didn't have people around me to tell me, oh, this is what this is, and break it down to me and explain it. Not only that, I would see spirits. I could hear spirits. I was able to read people very, very, very clearly at an early age. All of these things, right? And it was never broken down to me. It was never explained to me exactly what those things were, or what those gifts were. So I grew up kind of feeling like, I was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because I was crazy. Because that is not of God. It's illegal access to the spirit realm. That don't even make sense. As a child, how can I have illegal access to the spiritual realm? Like, sometimes people are so religious that y'all don't even make logical sense. Okay? As a child, you can't even control the access that you have. You just have access. It wasn't my choice to astral project. I was astral projecting. It wasn't a decision for me to read people. I was just reading people. Like, it wasn't a decision. And like, what are we talking about? But that's the type of shit that I grew up around. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. People like that. Saying that's not of God, and that's demonic, and that's this and that's that. That makes no sense. But yeah, the perfect depiction of what I'm talking about, honestly. Perfect timing. But yeah, I grew up around that type of energy where, if it wasn't specifically said, or if it wasn't in the realm of things accepted by the church, then, it was not of God. It was demonic. It was evil. It was negative. It was, you're working with dark spirits and shit like that. So I was afraid to tell my mom, like, hey, I be flying around the house at night. Because that sounds diabolical, right? And I knew that I had enough knowledge and enough common sense to know that that would not be accepted or even believed. You know what I'm saying? I knew enough to know, like, nobody's gonna believe this shit, even though I know that this is what I'm doing, because I'm fully conscious of the fact that this is what I'm doing. So it wasn't until I got about 16, maybe, like 16 or 17, where I started to get introduced. I'm going to say spirit started aligning me with people who either were having similar experiences. And when I say aligning me with people, all of it wasn't like direct connection. So sometimes it could be on TV. I see somebody talking about, you know, astral projection, or being able to read energy, or, you know, shit like that, or on YouTube or stuff like that. Or, you know, meeting other people. It was very rare that I actually met the people in person that had similar experiences, because I was always around church people. But I started to be, you know, more in alignment visually or audibly with, you know, people who had similar experiences. And I'm like, oh shit, so this is what they call it, and started learning the terminology for it. And I was astral projecting all through, I mean, from elementary school to high school, and all in between. I can remember vividly astral projecting, like, to the point, and I've shared this before, where my mom would wake me up for school, and I would get up and get dressed and walk around the house and speak to my brothers and, you know, joke with my mom and shit like that. And then I would wake up to my mother yelling at me, like, you still in the bed? And I would be so confused, because she got on the same outfit that she had on that I just seen, and my brothers is doing the same shit that they was doing that I just seen, but I didn't move out of this bed at all. And I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Like, that shit would trip me out so bad. I would be so confused, because I'm like, I know I just got up and put my clothes on and got dressed. I know for a fact that, you know what I'm saying, I just seen my mom doing whatever she was doing in her room, and she got on the same exact clothes that I just seen her in. And I remember brushing my teeth. I hopped in the shower. Like, I did all of these things, and then I would wake up and nothing was done. And I would be so spent. Like, my motherfucking head would be like, bro, what the fuck? Like, sometimes I got left at home because I would think that I'm getting ready. And my mother was the type, if you weren't ready for school, you just not going. Like, she wasn't about to be doing all of that extra yelling and hurry up and shit, because she had to get to work. So your ass ain't dressed, you not going. Okay? You might as well just lay back down to get comfortable, because your ass is grass. You stand the fuck here. Okay? And as a kid, that was the worst, because I wanted to go to school to do whatever the fuck I wanted to do. I may have had plans with my friends the next day or whatever. So sometimes it was cool, but most of the time I'm like, damn, I had shit to do. Like, what the fuck? But she would leave our ass. So I got left at home a couple times, because I would be astral projecting, thinking that I'm getting ready for school, and the whole time I ain't moved. I ain't did shit. I ain't go nowhere. So that shit used to trip me out. And you can't explain that. Like, how am I supposed to tell my mom, like, Mom, I swear I was just putting my clothes on, and Mom, I swear I was just getting ready. Like, she gonna be like, girl, no the fuck you wasn't. You was in there asleep. Like, it's not believable. You know what I'm saying? Like, no parent that doesn't have that spiritual knowledge is going to be like, oh, you was astral projecting. Oh, okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I get it. Let me sit down and explain to you what was happening. Fuck no. My mother was a gung-ho Pentecostal Christian. Baby, your ass just was asleep. Okay? And you had a dream. That's how it would have been broken down to me. So I just ain't tell her shit. So, you know, again, by the time I was like 16, 17, I started to see more shit on TV or YouTube or movies. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is astral projection. Okay, so this is, being clairaudient. Oh, so other people do hear shit. I'm not just hearing shit and I'm tweaking. Because I used to hear all types of talking and chatter. Like, I was never a child that went to bed early at night because I could not go to sleep early at night. There was no way I was going to sleep early at night because I can hear people talking. That shit I was scared. I used to be scared of the dark because I could see shadow figures and shit. I could hear people talking. Like, it always sounded like whispers. Like, it almost sounded like, how like people had a TV on in another room and it's like you can hear it, but you can't really hear it. That's how that shit would be sounding at night. And nobody's room would be close enough to me where it would sound like that. You know what I'm saying? It would either be I can hear the TV full out or the TV is off and you can't hear shit. So for me to hear like these muted type of conversations and shit, that shit used to freak me out. And I was so fucking scared of the dark. Like, it had me so scared of the dark. I would see people walking around my room. And especially when you're in that in-between stage of sleep where you're like half sleep, half up. Oh my fucking gosh. Like, I remember one time I was asleep, and I remember this shit vividly. One time I was asleep, I think it was at my dad's house. And I woke up, I was in like that in-between stage, and there was a man kneeled down, because I was sleeping on an air mattress. Okay, baby, it was trenches. But kneeled down beside the fucking air mattress, like, looking me in my face. Oh my God, the scream that I scrumped. The scream I scrumped. I know my parents thought I was fucking on drugs or something. I said, who, what, where, and why? I had my father sleeping in the bed with me. He would have to fucking come in there and lay with me until I went back to sleep. Like, I was good for waking up around the witching hours, or what they call the witching hours, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., between that, and being terrified and, like, could not go back to sleep. I'm, like, up against the wall in the corner, like, just completely terrified, not understanding that, those are probably ancestors, or, those spirits weren't necessarily there to harm me, because if they wanted to, they would have. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't have the education, and nobody around me, I knew nobody around me had the education either. Even at a young age, I knew that the people who were around me couldn't answer my questions, because I would go to church every fucking Sunday. You know what I'm saying? We were so deep in the church, I knew these niggas would think that I have lost my fucking mind. And, something was wrong with me. So, thank you for the gifts. There was no way that I could have explained it to them and they understood where I was coming from, and they was able to, break it down to me exactly what it was that I was experiencing. So I just kept it to myself for a long time, and they just thought that I was scared of the dark, or that I was having bad dreams. I would just tell them I had a bad dream. That would usually be my go-to. But yeah, so then around, I want to say when I graduated, that's when I really started, like, because at 18, I moved out of my mom's house. That's a whole nother story, but I moved out. Thank you for the gifts. And when I moved out, I was staying with my boyfriend and his mom at the time. So because I wasn't in that home, I had more in my mom's home. I felt like I had more freedom to kind of research into, more freedom, period, just overall, but more freedom to dive into what felt organic to me, because I didn't have these Bible thumpers, you know what I'm saying, beating me over the head with the fucking book all day long. You know what I'm saying? I could kind of navigate my life more intuitively than I would have had I still probably, was in my mom's house. So I started researching. I started watching, like, mediums on YouTube. I started watching, like, these little mini documentary series on YouTube about like astral projection, and I always wanted to hear like real people's accounts of like their stories and their experiences, because of course you have like the documentary style ones where it's like more science and educational type of ones where they're going off of theories and he said she said. I'm like, no, I want to hear from people who actually was doing the shit, to see if their experience was just like mine. And when they would talk about it and their experience literally was just like mine, that shit would be so mind-blowing to me, because for a long time, again, nobody was able to really explain to me what it was that I was seeing, what I was experiencing, what I was going through. So from there, when I first moved out, I didn't go to church for maybe like a month. Like, I stayed away from the church for a month. Number one, because me and my mother was beefing, which is kind of why I moved out in the first place. And then number two, because I finally felt like I felt free. Like, damn, I don't have to wake up every fucking day, and especially every Sunday, and go sit in this church and do all of this and do all of that. And during the week, I don't have to go with my mom to Bible study and go for this meeting and that meeting and this rehearsal and that like, it was like a break after years of being in church my whole life. So by the time I finally went back to church, this is after I started real research, looking into things. By the time I finally did go back to church, nothing was the same. Nothing was the fucking same. It didn't feel the same. It didn't hit the same. It felt very foreign to me because of the information that I had accumulated, up until that point. And I still wasn't even really into as much research as I eventually got to. I was still just like on the brink. Probably not even that. This was probably like the appetizer of what I would eventually get into later on in the years. And it already was feeling different to me. I already felt like I was standing out like a sore thumb. I would see people running around the church and jumping up and down and shit and talking in tongues and all of this stuff. And it would just feel so foreign to me. Even though I grew up around this shit my whole life, after I started researching, it just did not feel right. It didn't feel genuine. I felt no connection, right? And I already was feeling, growing up, I didn't really feel like I had a connection. But again, I was more so trying to force it so much that I kind of convinced myself that there was some type of connection, right? And I think a lot of it, I know a lot of it was out of fear, right? Because shit, from the time I was a baby, they was teaching us about going to hell. So of course you're going to try to, do whatever they're telling you to do, because you're scared of the fucking devil. You know what I'm saying? You tell a 5-year-old that there's a man with horns and a fucking pitchfork and it's fire all around. Who the fuck not gonna believe that shit? You know what I'm saying? Who is not going to conform? Who is not going to listen? You know what I'm saying? Especially as a child. So a lot of it was me trying to force it so that I wouldn't have the reality that they told me that I would if I didn't listen, if I didn't go with it. But once I moved out and I started going back to church, it's like I wasn't really scared of that no more. I say it was 50-50. Like, it was like, I don't really feel like that's the truth. But then I also was afraid that, like, okay, what if it is true? It's like that layer of protection. It's like, I'm still going to go over here and research certain stuff and, connect with whatever I feel intuitively guided to. But then I'm also going to kind of play it cool enough to where, just in case this shit is true, I still kind of got my foot in the door a little bit. And I kind of straddled that fence for a while. I want to say until I was maybe like 23. So about 4 or 5 years after I moved out. And I was still active, you know what I'm saying? When I finally got back to church, I was active again. I was singing in the praise team. I was over the children's dance ministry. I wrote all of the Christmas plays, all of the Easter plays, all of the New Year's plays. Any play that we had, I wrote that shit. Literally, like, whole ass plays, like off some Tyler Perry shit. Like, literally, okay? Writing whole ass plays for the church. Throwing rehearsals, having rehearsals, all of that. And putting on whole productions with music and outfit changes and stage changes and all type of shit. Okay, I was on all of that. So I was still very much so active, but my heart wasn't in it anymore. I don't want to say my heart was ever in it, but it was more evident that just wasn't what I was aligning with, for real. So fast forward to, I want to say, about 23. I ran across a tarot video. Now, side note, I always hold on. I always was super interested in astrology. Like, I was walking around telling people I was a Gemini in like kindergarten. Like, once I learned Gemini, I was like, oh yeah, I wore that shit like a badge of honor from a very young age. Like, again, kindergarten or first grade, one of those. That's when, I think my aunt told me, my great aunt who raised me, because she was a Gemini too. And, back in the day when niggas used to read newspapers, okay? They used to post horoscopes in newspapers. I don't know if y'all remember that. But when they would post the horoscopes in the newspapers and shit, I was a smart ass kid, so I could read. I may not have known what they was talking about, but I could read the shit. And my aunt would like show me, like, right here, this section is for Geminis, this section is for this sign, blah 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 blah, whatever. So I took pride in that shit. Like, I wore that shit like a badge of honor. I would go to school, tell everybody, yeah, I'm a Gemini, and what's your zodiac sign? And most of them kids didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. But I was always proud of that. So again, fast forward to being like 23, 22, 23. Well, over the years, I would kind of keep up with horoscopes a little bit, but 22, 23 is when I started to dive deeper into zodiacs and astrology. And my first real encounter with it was, I was on Facebook, and this was before all of this shit really got, really, really popularized like it is now. And I came across this live. Somebody had shared this live. I don't know who the fuck I was following, because all of my friends on Facebook used to either be family or church people. So I don't know who the fuck, shared this. I can't even remember. But they shared a live with this lady who was doing tarot. And I'm like, okay. I felt conflicted because, again, I was still kind of riding the fence. Like, I don't want to dive all the way into this. And I also want to play it safe, so that just in case this Jesus shit is real, I will be okay. You know what I'm saying? So I was like really in the middle. So I was kind of hesitant on watching it, but my intuition just kind of like pushed me to watch it. So I sat there and I watched it. And when she got to Gemini, she started reading Gemini. I mean, she was reading me down, like about family and the relationship that I was in at the time. And because me and my boyfriend at the time had an apartment together. We was living together. And she was just reading me down. It was fucking diabolical. And mind you, I've been in church all my life. So y'all know prophets come to the church all the time and be trying to tell people, what the fuck is going on and how they need to know this and how they need to know that. And, this is, your life is like this and your life gonna be like this and blah, 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 blah. Like, prophets would be in the fucking church all the time. So I've had a couple of different prophets come and try to tell me shit most of it was bullshit. I think it was only maybe like 1 or 2 prophets that I know in the history of me being in church, and I was in church for a very long time, that may have told me something accurate. Like, one prophet came up there and literally was trying to convince me that something happened to me when I was 12. And I'm like, nigga, I remember being 12. Like, what the fuck? That didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and my mama looking at each other like, who the fuck is this nigga? Like, who invited this nigga? Like, sir, that didn't fucking happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Like, is you cool? So I've had my share of people trying to tell me about myself and, you know, things like that, right? So to see that tarot reading be so accurate, and it was so broad, you know what I'm saying? It was just a Gemini reading. It wasn't like a personal 101, you know, it was a broad Gemini reading, and it was, I mean, to the T. Like, it wasn't like one of those readings that's like, oh, you're going through something right now and it's hard for you and you're struggling to make a decision. No, it was like details. Like, yeah, and I'm seeing that the other day that this happened and blah, 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 blah. And like down to the details. And that shit shook me to the point where I cut it off. Like, I cut the shit off. I'm like, no, like, I can't do this. There's no fucking way. And I think that was the moment that I kind of intuitively made a decision that what I was raised doing wasn't really for me. It was like that light bulb moment. And usually when you have that moment, there's a level of acceptance that you go through. But it starts with denial. And I was in pure denial. I was like, no way. So I kind of tried to forget about it for the next couple days. And then I hopped on Facebook maybe 5 to 7 days later, a week later. And she was on there doing another one. So I'm like, let's see what she's talking about today. Got back on that bitch. Accurate. I was like, okay, it's something to this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always been the type of person where, first of all, I'm a Gemini, right? So I don't move unless there are facts that is telling me, okay, go for this, go for that. Here's the proof. Here's the facts. Here's the background information. Here's the research. Here's the knowledge behind it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just going to make no decision all willy-nilly without having some type of, you know, informative insight. Never going to do that. But that second time kind of solidified for me, like, I felt more of a connection to that than I did sitting in church for all of those fucking years. So I'm like, okay. So I started watching it every day. And I was still going to church. I was still actively in church, singing. At this time, my mother had a gospel group, so we was doing shows in different states and traveling and all type of shit. Super active in the church. But my mind and my heart was not in it, to the point where my grandmother would be preaching and I would be sitting there like tuning that shit the fuck out. Whereas before, undivided attention, you know what I'm saying? I'm listening to everything she got to say, and, you know, I've shouted in church. Like, I ain't never spoken tongues or none of that shit. I always thought that was bullshit. But I shouted in church, like, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes the messages used to hit. You know what I'm saying? Especially the older you get, and I was on my own now, paying my own bills, going through my own situations and stuff. So it hit a little bit harder than it did when I was 15 and 16 living in my mama's house. You know what I'm saying? But it got to the point where that shit was not hitting. It was not hitting. It's like I could take the message for what it was, but it just wasn't hitting the same. Like, it wasn't doing the same thing for me for real that it was in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So after that, I started to get deeper into research, and this is when I started coming across ancestors. Now, I already felt a connection to my grandfather, which was, you know, the first ancestor that I started working with anyway. He passed away like 2003, and I want to say that next year, maybe it was, because I was still pretty young. The next year, I saw him. Like, I was at my father's mom's house, and I was going to bed, and I heard his voice, and I looked to the side, and I saw him beside my bed. That shit spooked the fuck out of me. So I had already felt like I was connected to his spirit in some type of way at an early age after he passed. So when I started to research ancestry and get deeper into that's really where things started to pick up for me. As far as spirituality goes, that's when things really started to solidify more for me. Because, I've already had these experiences with him, and then he started to pop up in my dreams, and, just different shit would just start happening in regards to him. So I started to get deeper into that, and then I started learning about ancestor veneration and how to venerate your ancestors and stuff like that. So I set up an altar. Mind you, I'm still going to church, okay? I didn't stop going to church until I was like maybe 25. So from 22, 23 to 25, I'm just simply researching and doing things behind closed doors. So yeah, I had a whole altar set up. I'm doing ancestor veneration. I'm doing offerings. I'm communicating with him on a daily basis. The whole nine, right? And I would go to church like nothing was going on. Acting regular, talking regular, still doing my regular shit. Still singing, still writing plays, still being over certain ministries. At this point, I think I was one of my grandmother's helpers, basically. So when she would preach, I would give her water while she preaching, or hold her little towel thing that she used when she wipe her face, or she's sweating or whatever. All that stuff. When she go out in the crowd and get off the pulpit and go out in the crowd and be preaching, I would walk with her. Like, I was very active, so nobody around me really knew what I was doing behind closed doors. And of course, I'm living on my own, so it's not like I gotta be responsible and put shit away and keep it in the wraps. Like, no, when I leave this bitch and I go home, yes, her armor bearer, exactly. When I leave this bitch and I go home, I'm leaving this bitch and I'm going home. And what I do behind them closed doors is what I do behind them closed doors. I'm doing whole rituals. Like, I started to get deeper into it and deeper into it and deeper into it, to the point where I'm just like, I can't do this no more. There's no way I can consciously go to church and sing and participate in this, because then I started researching the Bible. That's another thing that happened. I started researching the Bible for myself, because a lot of us, especially if you grew up in church, a lot of us have been taught to, they say study the word for yourself and blah, 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 blah. But realistically, even if you research and you study the Bible for yourself, you go to church and you're going to look at it however your pastor preaches it. That's just the fucking reality. You can go try to gain an understanding for yourself and all of that and whatever. But when you get to church, however that pastor presents that information, that's the way that you're going to start looking at that text. However they break it down, however they formulate that shit, that's how you're going to take it. So even when they would tell us, my grandma was like, go read, read this verse for this week and go look at this particular chapter for this week and blah, 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 blah. Even if I did all of that, by the time I got to church on Sunday, if my grandmother preached that same verse or that same chapter or whatever, we're going to go with the version that she's given us, not with the version that we've gotten from our own intuition and from our own intellect and from common sense, right? So I never could really say that up until that point, I never could really say that I researched the Bible entirely on its own and gathered my own knowledge and information from it and made my own decision, based on logic and based on my ability to take in the messages and just go with that, and that just be what it is, right? So I was like, I'm about to pick up this Bible and I'm gonna read it for myself, and I'm just gonna take it for what it says. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna take it for whatever the fuck it says. I'm not gonna add nothing to it. I'm not gonna remix it. I'm not gonna try to make it fit some type of narrative. I'm just gonna read this shit like I would any other book and take it for exactly what the fuck it says. And honestly, doing that is what made me really leave the church. Because when I started to read a lot of the shit verbatim from that fucking Bible, I was so thrown the fuck off. I was so disgusted. I was so embarrassed. Because up until that point, I subconsciously became one of them Bible thumpers. I always had friends or associates who were outside of the church. You know what I'm saying? I always had friends or associates who, weren't really raised like that, or, their parents were more open with their beliefs or whatever. And I would thump that Bible around and try to tell them, Jesus is this, and you got to do this because the Bible says this, and blah, 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 blah. And I would be super judgmental and all of that, because that's what was taught. You know what I'm saying? That's what they basically taught me, is your job is to go out here and educate the world on the right way of doing things. And according to the church, the right way of doing things is based on that book. So if you're doing anything outside of what that book is saying, if you're doing anything outside of what, the Christian standard is, then you're wrong and you're going to hell. So I didn't realize in a moment that was the energy that I was giving off until I went back and I read that shit for myself. And I was so ashamed. And it immediately put me back, made my mind go back to conversations I had with people where I was belittling them based on that fucking book and talking to them crazy and making these crazy judgments and, accusations and all type of shit based on that fucking book, bro. And I just felt so bad. Like, that shit made me feel so bad. It was like the craziest wake up that I ever had, because I'm like, damn, when you read this shit for yourself, right? Because even and this is not a Christian bashing live, but this is my truth. I was raised Christian, so I can't speak on the conversion from being a Muslim to spirituality or anything else, because I didn't experience that. I can only speak on my experiences. But they always say in church, lean not to your own understanding. Okay? You don't know. God knows. And God gives the pastor the wisdom and the right way to look at things and blah, 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 blah. So even your own ability to think for yourself was criticized. How dare you think for yourself? You know what I'm saying? How dare you try to formulate your own opinion on anything, that relates to the world, period. Like, how dare you? This is what I said it is, and that's what it is. And that's just that on that, right? Yeah, it was so many different stories in the Bible that really rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, like, rubbed me the complete wrong way. Like, and that was contradictory. You know what I'm saying? If you have basic common sense and you read that shit from start to finish, there's so many contradictions in that Bible. It's diabolical. Like, for God to say, one of the 10 commandments is don't be an adulterer, meaning don't sleep with other people's husband or wives. But then there's stories in the Bible where he sent people to sleep with each other's husband or wife. It's like, what the fuck how can one text contradict the other? Like, this makes no fucking sense. And I'm supposed to sit here and be like, yes, this makes sense. Like, oh yeah. Like, what? How you say don't do this, but then you go send somebody to do the exact thing you said don't do? Or the fact that forgiveness is so important, but you couldn't forgive the devil. Or the fact that you say we have free will, but then you also say you control everything. It's like so many things, it don't make sense when you lining up with basic logic. I can't have freedom of will and you wrote out all of my steps. How are my steps free if they're already pre-written? That's not free will. That's controlled will. Like what? Or how can I be punished and go to hell for something that you've written? You know what I'm saying? You wrote everything for me to do. You wrote how my whole life is going to be, and you're still going to send me to hell for something that you wrote out before I even got here. That makes no fucking sense. Or the fact that we started out with Adam and Eve, and they had 2 sons. So how the fuck did they have more kids? 2 men can't make a baby. So you telling me somebody had to get jiggy with Eve? Like a lot of that shit was just fucking weird to me. Like it rubbed me the wrong way. Or, the passages about, when a little girl gets her cycle, then she can basically be impregnated. Like what? Yeah, like it's so many weird things in that book, bro, that just really rubs me the fucking wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Like it just it was like, yeah, no thank you. And then even before I left the church, like I would ask my grandmother questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, if God is so forgiving and he'll forgive us this many times, over, why couldn't he just forgive the devil? You know what I'm saying? If he had control over everything, then isn't it his fault that the devil did what he did? Or just basic shit like, who the fuck was there when God was talking to the devil? And how was they able to let me know every detail of what was said in that conversation to put it in a book? You know what I'm saying? Like the Bible be like, and then God told the devil. And it's like, how the fuck? Who was there? Who was there to witness this conversation and be like taking notes? Like, okay, and then God said, okay, and like what? What? And then why was Adam and Eve punished for eating from the tree of knowledge? You didn't want them to know nothing? Like, it was so many things that just did not sit right with my soul. And again, this is not a Christian bashing live, but for those of us who have common sense and for those of us who operate off of logic, that shit never set right in our souls. We never felt no connection to that shit, because the higher self of us was always kind of like stiff arming that shit. Like it could never really seep into our souls as intended, And then even historically, it's like the only book that the slaves could read was the Bible. Why would the Caucasian people give Black people any type of key to freedom? Like what? You know what I'm saying? If I want somebody to stay locked up and not be free, why would I give them access to a God that could save them? That don't even make no fucking sense. Okay? That was another one of my questions. What did people do before Christianity? And then when I learned Christianity was one of the youngest religions, I said, the youngest? I respect a Buddhist before I respect them. I respect the fucking monk before that. Like, we talking about century upon century upon century upon century, millenniums, age-wise of religions that predate Christianity. It just did not make sense. And then when I started to look into other religions that had the exact same story, or you start to look into Greek mythology and they got the exact same story, they got a Jesus, 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 they got a Jesus. Like, all these other people got Jesus. Like, anybody want to explain? You know what I'm saying? Anybody want to break this shit down for me? Like, anybody want to make this make sense? How do all of these people got a damn Jesus? And it's the exact same story. You know what I'm saying? The exact same story. Like, detail for detail for detail. And it's like, okay. I'm not buying it. And then there would be like little breadcrumbs in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Where God would say all of mankind is God's. I forget the exact terminology or the exact scripture. But basically God said in the Bible that we are God's. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be like little shit like that. They'd be like, okay, in this specific passage that he's saying that we all God's. But then over here, it's saying something else. Like, it was too much to try to keep up with. Like, there was always something being contradicted. Or even there would be different versions of the same story in the Bible. Like, when, I think one of them, and don't quote me, but I think one of them was when Jesus rode the donkey or whatever. Like, different tales of the same story, different things that happen in the Old Testament versus the New Testament, or a couple chapters later, the story completely changes, and there's different details, and there's different ways that it went. It's just like, bro, what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? This is not something that I can give my life to when I don't even understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never felt like I can give my life to this belief system when it's hard for me to even figure out what the fuck it's saying, or some of the things in there just don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So that really pushed me away. And I gave myself the permission to say, you know, when I really started to get deeper into research, I said, you know, God, if I'm supposed to be a Christian, then as I research, lead me back to Christianity. I never started researching with the intention to leave the church. If anything, I started to research with the intention to get deeper into my faith so that I can feel more secure, because I had so many questions and I was so unsure, and there were so many things that just were conflicting for me. And I was like, well, maybe if I start researching it for myself and looking into other stuff, it will help solidify that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So when I started researching, I'm like, okay, if this is supposed to be what I'm supposed to be doing, lead me back to it. Allow the information, allow the knowledge to lead me back, because the Bible says the word will never come back void, which means no matter where you go, the word should be the word, right? So that was my mentality. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to follow the instructions of the Bible. It said that, you know, no matter where I go, no matter what I research, no matter what I look into, it's still going to come back to God of the Bible being the only God, to, you know, Jesus being the Son of God, and all of the other details, right? So I'm like, okay. Baby, that shit led me so far away from religion. It's ridiculous. It led me so motherfucking far away, and that was not my intention. Which is why I struggled for a while accepting the information that I was gathering. Like, I was struggling. Like, for me to admit that I felt the way that I felt was a task within itself. Because I felt like I was betraying not only my belief that I've had up until this point, but I felt like I was betraying my family, because, again, my grandmother was the pastor. My family was the first family of the church. I felt like, damn, like, I felt so horrible. It took me weeks to finally admit, like, this is not for me. And after I finally left the church, which, you know, startled every fucking body, but I didn't give a fuck, because I'm like, listen, I'm not about to continue to do something that does not feel natural to me. And when I started to research spirituality, it felt natural to me. It felt like everything just started making sense. It felt like, if it's like that feeling was like you longing for home, and you don't necessarily know what you need until you find it, and then you find that sense of peace. Like, that's what it was. It was like I'm longing for something. I feel like my soul needs to be fed something, but I didn't know exactly what it was for a very long time. So I kind of just went with the flow. The flow was Christianity, so I went with the flow. But then when I found spirituality, it's like all of the questions I had were answered. You know what I'm saying? Like, sitting in church asking my grandmother questions, and she would be like, well, some things God don't want you to know. I'm like, lady, just say you don't know the answer. You know what I'm saying? Like, just be like, oh, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that part. No. Some things God don't want you to know. And if you knew everything that God knew, then God wouldn't be God. And you would be bigger than God if you knew everything that God knew. And God don't want you to know this. And that's just something. It's like, girl, just say you don't got that information. You don't got that knowledge. You'll get back to me. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. But don't try to make it seem like that's just how it's supposed to be, where you just not supposed to know nothing. Like, girl, no. That wasn't cutting it for me no more. But when I got into spirituality, shit made sense. It's like, okay, we don't know the answer to this because of this reason. Not saying that spiritual people know everything, because nobody knows everything. That's just life. But there were reasons why certain things weren't available, why certain knowledge wasn't available. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were certain reasons why we still were searching for certain answers, or we were still, trying to connect this and connect that. And then basic shit like science ties into spirituality. You know what I'm saying? Like, it tied directly into it. It wasn't, Christianity sometimes goes against science. Sometimes the shit don't make no fucking sense, right? Or they say, it's above science, and like, no. Okay? Science gives you an explanation of how things came to be the way that they are. Science is needed. You can't dismiss science. That's fucking ridiculous. Any belief system that is telling you to dismiss science is diabolical. It should work hand in hand. It doesn't mean that all of your questions will be answered, but it just means that you can see how certain things came to be the way that they are. Period. There's going to be some type of scientific evidence of certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that shit it just wasn't doing it for me. So yeah, let me answer some of these questions. What do you mean by spirituality? What was the difference between the two? So Christianity means that's the belief in Christ. Christ being the Savior, right? Christ dying on the cross and rising again in 3 days. That's the core of Christianity. That's Christianity. Christ is, Jesus being the main attraction is what Christianity is. So spirituality, to me, my definition is my connection with myself. And when I say myself, I'm talking about my soul, right? Because energy is neither created nor destroyed, right? So the soul is eternal. So my connection with my soul and my connection with the energies around me. So that could be through a lot of different things. That could be through astrology. That can be through science. That can be through meditation. That can be through ancestry. That can be through ancestor veneration. That can be through astral projecting, telepathically communicating, reading energy, being an empath, whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's no set way to approach anything when it comes to spirituality. Spirituality is just simply the connection that you have with your higher self, your soul, your true being, and then the energies in your environment. So that could be your connection to plants, your connection to animals, your connection to water, your connection with air, your connection with fire, your connection with earth. All of that. Hold on. The hardest thing for people to accept is that Yahweh is all good things and bad things. Well, getting back to the whole Yahweh thing, the whole Jesus thing, that goes back to religious belief. I don't believe that God is just one entity that is sitting somewhere higher than all of the other entities. I believe that we are all a part of what we would consider the energy of God. I look at God as an energy that is dispersed evenly amongst all living things. So there's God in the plants, there's God in the animals, there's God in the trees, there's God in water, there's God in the air, there's God in fire, there's God in the earth, there's God in the fucking beetles, there's God in ladybugs, there's God in birds, there's, you know what I'm saying? I feel like life force within itself is what God is. I don't believe that there's a supreme being that oversees everything. I don't see it that way. My personal belief. I see God as being the life force that is in everything that is living or that is conscious. I see God as complete consciousness. So we all have conscious, we all are conscious. Anything that is conscious, whether it's in this realm or the next realm or the next realm or the next realm, because there's so many different dimensions, there's so many different realms. So wherever there is consciousness, there is God. That is what God would be. No, I don't believe in Jesus. No, I don't know why you're mixing the two. No. That's what he said. Yahweh is also the first breath when you inhale and exhale. Okay, well, if you believe Jesus is God, then that's great for you. But that's not a shared belief. That's not what everybody believes. Spiritual people do not believe in Jesus as a being. We believe in something called Christ consciousness, meaning the message that Jesus came to share is something that we can agree with. Yes. If you break it down like that, yes. Jesus came to tell y'all that there is nothing outside of God being everything. Like, he came to undo the priests. He came to undo pastors. He came to undo religion. Jesus was not religious. So the fact that he was created into this religious being literally goes against the message that he came to send if we're going by the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's another thing that confused me with Christians when I started reading the Bible. I'm like, my nigga, if y'all so gung-ho about Jesus, he would not be proud of y'all. Like, y'all doing everything against what the fuck he said. He came to tell y'all that you don't need to do none of this shit. Like, you supposed to be connecting with God. And then it tells you that God lives within you. Basically telling you that you are God. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, he told you to connect with yourself, the God within yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you got all these people out here talking about you need to go to church and you need to do this and you need to do that and the devil this and the devil that. It's like, what? He literally came to tell y'all not to do none of this shit. Not to do none of this. Why y'all? You don't need to go to no priest. You don't need to go to no church. You don't need to go to this. You don't need to go that. If Jesus was real and he came back today, y'all would call him a goddamn warlock. Let's call a spade a spade. If Jesus popped up right now today doing all of the shit that he was doing in that Bible, y'all would call him a witch or a warlock, bro. Y'all would not be open arms accepting this man as whoever. No, y'all would be calling that man demonic. Y'all would be saying he's going to hell. All type of y'all would not be out here talking about some, oh, let's bow down to the king. No, cut the cap. Okay? Jesus is not doing anything different than what spiritual people are doing right now. You know what I'm saying? He's not doing anything different than what spiritual people are doing right now. He used the earth to heal. He took mud and made a nigga ear go back. You know what I'm saying? He brought people back from the dead. He performed all of these miraculous acts, which is like, what's the difference? That's why we call it Christ consciousness. We don't believe in the whole story of all of the extra stuff that y'all believe in. No. Or to help the person see, whatever. The point is, y'all would call that nigga a goddamn warlock. Cut the cap. Everybody trying to act like if Jesus was to come back right now, y'all would be all on y'all bended knee. Fuck no. Y'all would be making whole posts about how is this man up here, you know what I'm saying, being a damn warlock. Like, come on now. Be for real. He was not with all of this religious shit. That's a fact. He was not with all of this extra ass religious shit. Was not. He was not trying to get nobody to open no damn churches and beat nobody over the head with a Bible. Was not doing none of that. At all. Absolutely. I don't know. I don't think I have no mods on here, but it's okay. Ain't nobody really talking crazy. Exactly. And the emerald tablets, like the tablets, a lot of what is in the Bible was stolen from the tablets. What the hell? But that's why religion never wanted you to research outside of religion. That's why they never wanted you to go. It was literally written with the mentality that you believe everything that is here and you keep your mind here. And you stay within this realm of stuff. And then it demonized anybody who took or had the audacity to go out and get further information or further knowledge. You were deemed, you know what I'm saying? You were deemed as an outcast, an outsider. You know what I'm saying? They you need to stay here. Okay? Within these 66 books, you stay here. Okay, we're going to tell you what to think. We're going to tell you what all of this shit mean. We're going to tell you how to break this shit down. You had to stay in the box. If you went outside of the box, you were immediately demonized. You were immediately criticized. You were immediately told that you was wrong and, you know, all of that. Like, man, get the fuck out of here. Are you or were you there when Jesus walked the earth? None of us was. If religion was based on who was there, none of y'all would be Christians. Nobody would be a Christian. It's all hearsay. So that's the thing. That's the difference between religion and spirituality. Spirituality is proven without a book. Spirituality is common knowledge among souls. I don't need a book to do spiritual things. You know what I'm saying? My intuition is enough. There are similar experiences that all spiritual people have had, and there's no spiritual book. Like, spirituality doesn't have a book like a Bible or a Quran or nothing like that. Like, there's no shared book that we all have and we all just get the same information because we read the same book. No. You know what I'm saying? When you have an awakening, when you go through an awakening, when you tune inward and you gather the knowledge, it is a collective knowledge. That's what the Akashic records are. The Akashic records is basically a shared, connected space, place, energetic space of knowledge that we all can tap into to gain access to the same information. The same information. You know what I'm saying? I think you don't know nothing for real. Well, congratulations. We all have opinions. Worshiping Christ goes against the Bible. I love God and honor Christ's teaching. Now, I agree with that. Worshiping Christ does go against the Bible, but most Christians won't admit that. I feel like once you get famous enough with a message, you got to sack yourself before they do. Oh, for sure. I mean, if we look at history, they've always come against people who were, you know, shining light on truth and forcing people to think for themselves. Again, they never wanted you to think for yourself. Thinking for yourself, you know, it puts a target on your back, you know? Because collective thinking is controlling. You know, they want to control you. So you all need to practice this one religion. You all need to follow these specific steps. You all need to do these same things. You all need to dress the same, walk the same, talk the same, read the same book. You know what I'm saying? It's a controlling mechanism. Yeah. People would be too insecure for Jesus to have all that rank. I'm spiritual, but I don't judge because you can learn from all books. I agree with that completely. I agree with that completely. I don't think that there's any book necessarily that you should shun. Information is information. It comes in different ways, it comes in different facets. And a lot of the information, again, from those specific books was taken from original places, you know? So it's like that may be the closest you can get to some of these texts. Like, we don't have all of the emerald tablets, but you can read some parts of the Bible and get that information, get that knowledge. So yeah, I think that you should. I think any person who is truly educated does not turn down any information. You know what I'm saying? Anyone who is truly educated does not turn down any information, any knowledge, especially when it comes to beliefs in religion and spirituality and shit of that nature. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you should read it. I would implore all spiritual people to read that Bible from beginning to end at least once, because there's a lot of hidden things in there. There's a lot of nuggets. There's a lot of knowledge. Of course, it's mixed in with a lot of bullshit, but that's anything. You know, taking what is for you and leaving the rest. You know, they say eat the fish and leave the bones. That's with anything. You know, you can watch a TV show that you don't agree with everything, but you could take certain things from it. I believe that, you know, anything can be useful. So I will never be the person like, yeah, don't read that Bible, don't do this, don't do that, don't blah blah blah. Like, I wouldn't tell you to do that. Now I'm not gonna say you should go absolutely do that. Like, no, I think if you want to, definitely go do it. You know, from a spiritual aspect, I mean, that's what, if you know anything about hoodoo was our ancestors' way of manipulating those things to work for us in a lot of different ways. Oh, you gonna force this Bible on us? Okay, bet. We still gonna make this shit spiritual. We still gonna take the spiritual essence of this. We still gonna, you know, take whatever parts we need to make this do whatever we needed to do. So that's why in a lot of hoodoo practices we use proverbs, we use psalms. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different scriptures from the Bible that are used in spell work and a lot of different stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I always say everything is connected. You just got to find the links. It's all fucking connected. You know what I'm saying? Like the story of Adam and Eve, I don't see that as something that is literal. I see that as metaphoric. Atoms, 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 which make up your body, and then Eve, the mitochondrial Eve gene, which is in all black women, and black women are the primary source of life on this planet. I see that as the creation story. Atoms and the Eve gene. That's how I see it. You know what I'm saying? The way that they depict it is a literal person. A man named Adam and a woman named Eve. Okay, cool. That's how you see it. I don't see it like that. Jesus, you know, being the Son, S-U-N, right? The Son of God, right? The Son of Gods. The Son is here for us, God, so that we can thrive here in this realm, right? So the Son of God, with an S. And then he dies and is dead for 3 days, and he rises on the third day. Well, the sun does that every year from the 21st to the 25th of December. It goes to its lowest point in the sky for 3 days, and then it rises on the third day. So, like, I don't think that you shouldn't read it. I just think that if you read it, you need to know what you're reading it for. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that came through years of me researching, years of me tapping in, not only just reading and researching, but also meditating on the things that I've read and allowing myself to be a vessel for information, not being closed off. Because when I first left the church, I was very closed off. I felt like I didn't want anything that had anything to do with Christianity. I didn't want that shit around me. at all. And that was because of a lot of anger. Like, I felt like a lot of my years were taken away from me. I felt like a lot of information was falsified. I felt like a lot of, what happened to my people, and, especially if we talk about slavery and, just the mentality of melanated people, period, because of this fucking book, I was pissed. But then I had to eventually get out of that energy and wake up to the hidden gems in that. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not an evolutionist. I haven't mentioned anything about evolution at all. I haven't said one thing about evolution. Absolutely. Oh, I slept in church like shit as a kid. For sure, for sure. How am I talking like an evolutionist? Do y'all know what an evolutionist is? What the fuck? Like, if you don't understand, just say I don't understand. But yeah, a lot of it was because of the fact that they were intimidated. We as melanated beings have always had, we were always supreme beings. You know what I'm saying? And the way to control a people is to first control them mentally. So if you can convince that people, or those people, that they are not as powerful as they are, and there's something outside of them that is more powerful than they are, then they will never tap into that source of power. And that's basically what happened over a number of years of us being isolated, of us being, I mean, you mix that with physical abuse, verbal abuse. I mean, you can control an entire generations, which they have. You know what I'm saying? They've controlled entire generations of people by playing mental games mixed with physical abuse and verbal abuse. Like, yeah, all through fear. So it's like, our ancestors did the best they could to try to keep the essence of who we was alive by mixing it in with religion. That's how we got hoodoo. That's how we, got certain scriptures and being used, and certain methods and things of that nature. But over the years, more and more people conformed. So a lot of that stuff got lost. So that's why I call it a reawakening and not necessarily an awakening, because the information have always, and the knowledge has always been in us, but it had to be reactivated. You know what I'm saying? I feel like especially the millennial generation, Gen Z, millennials and up, I guess, millennials, Gen Z, and all the generations to come, we are the generations, or the chosen ones, or the star seeds, or the indigo children, who are here to wake that shit the fuck back up. And it's not going to be easy. And let me just give a message to all of my people who are in the comments, who are spiritual beings, whether you're in the beginning of your journey, whether you've been on your journey for a while. This shit is not supposed to be easy. Y'all already see how these comments are. There's going to be, whether you've been on your journey for a while, this shit is not supposed to be easy. Y'all already see how these comments are. There's going to be so many motherfucking people who are going to tell you that you don't know what you're talking about. They're going to try to convince you that you don't have the right state of mind, that you're not believing in the right stuff, that you've been misled, that, you need to get deeper into the word, and you need to go and do this and do that and all of this other shit to try to convince you that you're wrong. And a lot of it is because they're still operating off of the thoughts of other people, and they have not yet formulated their own thoughts, right? Free from fear. Because there's a difference between thinking with fear in the back of your head versus having a thought where you don't even care about the negativity. You're not afraid of any backlash. You're not afraid of anything going wrong. That's a different type of freedom. That's a different type of freedom. When you can think for yourself and you're not worried about going to hell. You're not worried about the devil coming to get you. You're not worried about being struck down. You're not worried about when this person comes back, they're going to leave you behind because you didn't believe. When you finally can free yourself from all of those judgmental and made up as fears, right? And you can formulate thoughts for yourself, and you can, research for yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's what freedom is. That's what peace truly is. And that's when you feel the most connected with who you are as a being. And that's the first step, I feel like, to spirituality, is first freeing yourself and feeling more connected to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because the reason I stayed in church so long was simply out of fear. It was never because I felt all the way secure in that belief system. It was never because I felt connected to any of that shit. It was because I was scared of going to hell. Simple and plain. I did not want to burn. So I forced myself to believe. I forced myself to regurgitate all of that shit. I forced myself to be as judgmental as them same people. That shit was forced. Okay? But once I finally got over that hurdle of feeling, bad or feeling, connected or whatever, that shit was a walk in the park. Walk in the park. That's not to say everything with spirituality you're going to understand immediately, because you're not. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the biggest part of spirituality is intuition. And it's one of those things where you got to lead by intuition, and then that confirmation is going to come. And you just got to hold out until that confirmation comes. But the gag is, you don't got to die to see it. That's the beautiful thing about spirituality. I don't have to leave this realm for the confirmation to come. It's going to come. It's going to come while I'm still in this realm and have my eyes open to see it. Thank you for the gifts. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to wait till I get to heaven for me to get confirmation on. No. I don't have to wait for none of that shit. Yeah. But you're traumatized to the point of heightened intuition. You're saying I'm traumatized to the point of heightened intuition? I'm not traumatized at all. Not when it comes to religion. And that was not saying that this is your point, but that's what a lot of people would say to me and still say to me to this day, is like, oh, you have church hurt, or you feel the way you feel because this and that. It's like, I never experienced church hurt. My grandmother was the pastor. I was part of the first family. I could do whatever the fuck I wanted to do in that church. If I'm being totally honest, I could do whatever I wanted to do. I wasn't a regular member of the church. You know what I'm saying? It was never one of those situations where, somebody was being mean to me and I left the church, or they were talking about, no. I had more than enough freedom to do whatever the fuck I wanted to do in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? In the middle of service, I'm walking in my grandmother's office and taking whole ass naps. Okay, there wasn't any church hurt. You know what I'm saying? I was annoyed maybe with having to be there every day, but it didn't cause me to be traumatized to the point where I'm like, oh, or traumatized at all, to where I'm like, oh, I'm leaving here and I'm never coming back. No, it never gave that. I left because I started to research the Bible. Again, the Bible is what led me away from Christianity. If we keeping shit all the way 1,000, I was going to stay. But reading that shit for myself, that's what made me leave. I was like, yeah, this is not for me. Actually, no, thank you. I'm out. I didn't feel no connection to that shit. I'm not going to say that shit because I don't want to be disrespectful, but I didn't feel no connection to it. It's more so exploring when someone is choosing to pick what they want to believe in spirituality. Yeah. Hell yeah, they always trying to project. I think my biggest problem is my intuition scares me, but I be knowing. Don't allow your intuition to scare you. You know what I'm saying? Don't allow your intuition to scare you, because I always say our intuition has the best track record of anything on this earth. It's never wrong. It's never wrong. And the thing about our intuition is we don't get all of the answers up front. Our intuition is always a play-by-play type of thing. It's never going to give you 14 steps at once. It's just not going to do that, because higher self knows you're not even going to follow all 14 of them steps. And I've said this before. If your intuition gave you all 14 steps for the next 3 months and gave you a list of shit, right? We'll look at that list and be like, okay, step 1 is telling me to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, I could do that. Cool. Step 2, okay, cool. Step 3, you want me to quit my job. You want me to leave this relationship. You want me to do, I'm not doing that. Skipping that. Skipping 4. I'm skipping 6. I'm not doing 10. You would try to be like, nah, I'm not doing that shit. But the thing about intuition is messages from your higher self, right? Your higher self is the soul, the God within you, the consciousness, right? And the consciousness is aware of what is to come, right? And where you're headed based on your current energy. So it's giving you play-by-plays based on the future. But because we're here in the physical, half of us is in the physical, half of us is in the spiritual. Because of your physical half, you can only see based on what you can see physically. So you're not trying to listen to your intuition because you're looking with your physical eyes, but your intuition is a spiritual thing. So it's giving you steps so that you can get to 14, which is up ahead, right? But you and your ego and your lower vibrational self, you thinking like, I can only see myself as how I see myself right now. I don't see how I'm going to make it to step 14. I don't see how I'm going to be prepared to take steps 9 and 10. I don't see myself there. So you take that mentality and you say, okay, well, I'm just not going to do this. And you end up not listening to your intuition. And then the future plays out and your intuition was correct. And then you be like, damn, that's why it told me to do. That's why I say hindsight is 20/20. It's not 20/20 because it's wrong. It's 20/20 because of the perspective that you have. Sometimes things don't connect until you get to that place where it's supposed to connect. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to intuition, like I tell all of my clients, and I be telling y'all on here all the time, when it comes to intuition, you listen first and you can ask questions later. Because as you progress through whatever process is taking you on, things are going to connect. It's going to make sense. You know what I'm saying? It won't in the moment because you're not even that future self that's going to accomplish those things. The version of you that is going to accomplish step 14 is not your current version. You know what I'm saying? Your current version is on step 1. That's why they're telling your ass to take step 1. But you trying to look all the way down the line. You're not even that person yet. You're not the person that you're supposed to be tomorrow yet. You're not the person you're supposed to be next week yet. Because the events in your life have not happened to make you that person. Does that make sense? So you have to go through. That's why this life has purpose. It serves purpose for soul exploration and for soul ascension. Right? Because we go through so many different experiences and challenges and different things to cultivate the soul into upgrading or ascending to another space, to a next level. The things that you go through are necessary. So you can't accomplish being that millionaire yet because you're not the millionaire self yet. You haven't gone through the situation that's going to put you in that mentality to make you your millionaire self yet. You know what I'm saying? There's steps to this shit. So intuition is giving you a play-by-play. It's saying, okay, I see the goal that you're trying to get to. In order for you to get to this place, you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to go through this particular experience. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to be in the dark a little bit. And we don't like that because we're used to things just being like either explained to us. You know what I'm saying? That's why people feel so secure in religion, because religion gives you something specific to look forward to. Okay, if I live my life like this, then I'm going to go to heaven and this will be my reality. Right? That's why people like that, because it's a safety net. I can feel secure in knowing that there's something that is guaranteed to happen. It's giving me a guarantee. Spirituality don't come with no guarantees. It just don't. There is no guarantees. The only guarantee in spirituality is that you will come out your best self. If you follow your intuition, if you do what you're supposed to do, if you align with your destiny, if you align with your life purpose. That's the only guarantee, that you will become your best self. What that looks like, who fucking knows? Who fucking knows? It might look like you being a millionaire. It might look like you being a wife of a man and have 10 kids. It might look like you owning a business. It might look like you doing a whole bunch of different shit. Who knows what that will exactly look like? And a lot of people don't want to take that chance. They don't want to take that gamble because they feel like there's nothing concrete about this. And when you are already used to living a life of trauma, this is why trauma has been pushed so hard on our community, because it disrupts our natural ability to align with the things that are for us. It disrupts our natural ability to see ourselves for who we are as spiritual beings so that we can feel more secure. Right? When you go through trauma, especially if you've dealt with abandonment, especially if you've dealt with these highs and these lows as a child, you're already coming into adulthood completely terrified of anything that's not set in stone. You're terrified. You don't want shit to be up in the air. You want concrete evidence. You want guarantees. You want that shit to be written out. You want it to go exactly the way that they said it was going to go. Right? And if it don't happen like that, you disappointed, you beating yourself up, you giving up. Some people take themselves out. So many different things happen because it's not looking like the way that you pictured it in your head. Right? So this is why healing is important. This is when we get into shadow work. What is hiding in the shadows of my energy that is causing me to be so detached from aligning with the life that is for me? From being detached from aligning with my life purpose, because we all here for a reason, especially if you're a melanated being. We came here for a reason. Don't nobody want to be here just for shits and giggles. Nothing that you can accomplish in this realm materialistically can you take with you. So nobody is here just for fun. That's cap. We're not here to be millionaires. Now, if you do become a millionaire, that's cool, but you're not here to be a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? You're not here to drive Ferraris and own a Benz. That wasn't the purpose of you coming back, because you can't take none of that shit with you. And if you can't take it with you, it don't matter. We're here for soul work, because everything that you do and the way that you develop as a soul, you take that with you, because the soul leaves this realm. It don't stay here. This is not its final destination. This is just a trip this is a stop on a road trip. You got to see it like that. This is a destination on a road trip that is never ending, because the soul don't die. It's never ending. So we are here to experience so that we can grow on a soul level. That's what we're here for. We're not here for all of this materialistic shit. You gotta look at anything that they're pushing to the collective is to distract you. They push social media so that you can be distracted with all of the bullshit on here. Not saying social media doesn't have its benefits. Everything has pros and cons. But they push certain things and they put certain things in your face so that you can be, more distant from understanding your purpose here. Especially these people, because they don't have a purpose like you have a purpose. That's just the fucking facts. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so the religion distraction, cars, clothes, money, hoes distraction. The music has changed. Now that's a distraction. The TV has changed. Now that's a distraction. You know what I'm saying? All of these things are put into your face to keep you from tapping in so that you can figure out what your actual purpose is here. We all are here to help or connect with other people for different reasons. We're all here to add value to the next soul, right? We're not here selfishly. So you going through your own personal healing and development is for a greater cause. This is why you are forced to isolate in the beginning stages of your journey rather than being all around everybody, because you got to be secure with you first. You got to get some understanding of who you are first. I can't be effective to you if I'm ineffective to myself. That's crazy as hell. That doesn't work like that. That's like giving somebody some dead batteries. I gave you the batteries, but the shit is dead. There's no juice in it. So how am I helping you? I gave you the batteries, yes, but they're not working. Ineffective, right? So I got to charge myself up first. And in order to charge myself up, I have to first figure out where my wires is crossed at. That's why we go back and we do healing work. That's why we work on childhood traumas. Because some wires got crossed back there. Somewhere, somehow, some way, something got fucked up. Period. Somebody affected you in a way that has now become detrimental to your process. I love you too. Somebody has done something to you that has now become detrimental to your process. Some experience that you had has put the blinders over you and your eyes, and you can't even see yourself for who you are. There's so many people that's walking around here that don't even know that they have the ability to change their own lives. That's a trauma. That's a trauma that's not talked about enough. What do you mean you don't know that at any moment you got free will? We're going to talk about free will. Free will means that at any moment you can get the fuck up and do whatever you want. If you want to grow, you can grow. If you want to change, you can change. If you want your life to be different, it can be different. You just got to make the decision to do it. You are so powerful that only you can stop you. These motherfuckers can't stop you, and they know that. And they're learning that shit now more than ever. 2020 showed them that they don't have the control that they think they got. When everybody was in the house, tapping in for themselves, getting that information, getting that knowledge, you know what I'm saying? It showed them. Thank you for the gifts. It showed them you ain't got no motherfucking control over shit. Why do you think so many people start waking up to their gifts? Because you had time in isolation. And what they don't know, these people, they so not connected that they thought that isolating us was going to put us in a detrimental state. And really what they did is they provoked an awakening. They didn't know that they were being used as a step stool. They got played. They played themselves. They played their fucking self. All they did was put you in a motherfucking room and held the mirror up to your ass. That's what 2020 was. 2020 is what? Vision. They held the mirror up to your motherfucking self and said, look at who you are. All these people started businesses, and it wasn't money-making businesses. People were doing shit because they were passionate about it. Period. It wasn't like, oh, I need to make some money. Money wasn't even an issue. There was a rent halt, so nobody had to pay rent. Nobody was worried about getting put out. They was giving motherfuckers free food, extra $500, $600 in food stamps, stimulus checks, all throughout the year and shit. People weren't worried about money. Why do you think they created the workforce? To distract you. When you worried about money, you can't see who the fuck you are. And you're not going to tap into your gifts if you worried about money. Because when you think about your gifts, you're going to think about, does this make money or not? Is this going to help me be secure? Is this going to help me buy food for my family? Is this going to help me pay rent? That's people's main focus. So a lot of people couldn't tap into their gifts. They couldn't tap into their life purpose because they so money focused because they got to fucking survive. So when you take survival off the table, when you take money issues off the table, when you take commuting every day back and forth to work off the table, when you take all of the stress of life off the table, you forced with what? You. You're forced with you. No other distractions around. It's just you with you, and you can figure that shit the fuck out. And that's what the majority of people did. It worked completely. It worked completely against them. It did the complete opposite of what they thought it was going to do. And that shit pissed them the fuck off. They didn't mean to do that shit. We not going to say what, they really wanted 2020 to be and what they was really using it for, because they had blocked my shit. But we just going to say population control. And we going to leave it at that. Hello? That was the real purpose. You know what I'm saying? That was the real reason of why they did what they did, okay? They were trying to control some shit. And those who fell for it, unfortunately, some of them are no longer here, and some of them will have long-lasting effects because of that. And it's sad. But that was a time for you to really, if you ain't trust your intuition at no other point in your life, I hope you did in 2020. I hope you did in 2020. I hope you listened to your motherfucking intuition in 2020. I truly hope that you did. Because if no other year was the time to do so, that was a motherfucking year. And ever since then, those whose eyes have been open, if you notice, they've tried to drop a whole bunch of new, I'm going to call them mixtapes, since then. And ain't nobody bat an eye. They fucked up. Because not only was 2020 a year of awakening, but it was also a paradigm shift. We also officially crossed into the age of Aquarius. The age of knowledge, the age of information, the age of technology. You fucked up. You did it at the wrong time. If you wanted to get us, you should have did it any time before that. And more people would have been more susceptible to the bullshit. Of course, there still would have been people who would have, you know what I'm saying, not really fell for it. But the majority of people would have fell for that shit. And if you notice, most of us, we ain't fall for that shit. Now, you had people who did, but the majority of us, we ain't fall for that bullshit. We ain't fall for that bullshit. It's not happening. The fuck? No. Not doing that. Not putting it in my body. Are you crazy? Come bring yourself to fucking do it. Some of y'all sacrificed y'all jobs because y'all knew. You know what I'm saying? Fuck no. They should have tried that shit years before. They would have been more successful because more people would sleep. And that's why, again, going back to my definition of spirituality, your ability to connect with the energies around you. There was a global energy shift that happened in 2020. It wasn't just on a personal level. It was a global energy shift that most of us tapped into, whether we wanted to or fucking not. Whether you wanted to or not, you woke your ass up. I bet you fucking did. I bet you fucking did. Whether you made a conscious decision or not, one day shit was just not the same. You know what I'm saying? One day shit was just not the same. One day you was able to look at some shit and you was like, hold up. Nah. Hold up. Why the fuck am I doing this? Hold up. You start asking questions. Things that usually didn't stand out to you start standing out like a sore fucking thumb. Usually you can ignore certain things. Usually you didn't even know to pay attention to certain shit. But one day that shit just shifted. It changed. Unexplainably. It was just not the same. Nothing was the same, like Drake said. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that Canadian. But nothing was the same. And there's no going back. Once you wake up, there is no going back. You can try. You can attempt to turn the motherfucking switch back off, but that bitch will never turn off. And everywhere you go, you see shit for exactly what the fuck it is. Whether it makes sense to you in a moment or not. Because some things is just energetic. You just feel off. You're like, something about that ain't right. I can't put my finger on it right now. I don't necessarily know what it is. Something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? It may not always be very direct where you see it exactly for what it is. But you start looking at shit like, hold up. Nah. Nah. I don't know what. You know what I'm saying? Not even just a situation with people. People in your family, people in your space, even strangers. You can go into a group full of strangers, a room full of strangers, and you know exactly who the fuck ain't right in this group. Somebody in this bitch, you not right. I don't know why you not right. You know what I'm saying? I don't got all the information and the knowledge as to why you ain't right, but bitch, you's off. And people be looking at you like you crazy. Like, why you don't like that person? Why you don't want to be around that person? Why you being mean? Why you, like, fuck all that. You call it whatever you fucking want. That bitch ain't right. Something's off with that motherfucker right there. Now, y'all can sit there and be friends and kumbaya, whoever the fuck you want. But let me tell you right now, don't bring that motherfucker around me. Let me make sure my phone. Right now, don't bring that motherfucker around me. Let me make sure my phone charger. It wasn't fucking charging. But yeah. It's my damn. Hold on, y'all. But yeah. It's my damn. Hold on, y'all. There you go. But yeah, you just be knowing. You have this inner knowing now. You know what I'm saying? Again, 2020. That's vision. That's clear vision. And ever since then, vision has been clear. Period. I'm a Gemini, babe. Big Gem, not the little one. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So, ever since then, the veil has been lifted. The veil has been lifted. Now, we can go further back and we can talk about, yeah, I'm a Sag rising. We can go back and we can talk about how these people work with extraterrestrials in order to cast the spell that they cast. Because if you know anything about energy and you know about the power of the melanated being, you know, ain't nobody strong enough to put no motherfucking spell on us. Especially back then when we were in our prime energy. You gotta remember, every downtown area that you see, thank you for the gift. And I appreciate all of the gifts. If anybody does want a gift, I do appreciate it. If you need to reload your gifts, you can go to www.tiktok.com/coins, okay, to reload. All gifts are appreciated. It helps with the community. So shout out to everybody that's been gifting and liking and sharing. But any downtown area was a capital for our people. This is when we get into the mud floods. Go look into the motherfucking mud floods. Go look into the motherfucking mud floods. All of these buildings that's downtown, they've been here. They've been here. That's why you can go walk past some of these buildings and it's like the window, like this is the ground and this is the window. It's like the top of the window is above ground, but then the other part of the window you can't see. Mud flood. They flooded out these neighborhoods. They flooded out these cities so that they can build on top of what was already here to distract you from what the history actually was. We wasn't over here in no motherfucking teepees. Get the fuck out of here. We built pyramids, bitch. Why would we be living in a teepee? The oldest pyramids to date are here on American soil, not in Africa. We didn't come from all of us didn't come from Africa. There were melanated beings on every single part of this land. There's a reason why Black Americans got it the worst. And I'm going to leave it at that. It's a reason why we get it the worst. It's a reason why we the most frowned upon. It's a reason why they've changed the narrative so much with who we are. It's a reason why us specifically get the brunt force of all of the aggression and animosity. It's a reason for that. It's a reason. And research will help you. Meditation will help you. Tapping into the Akashic records through meditation will help you understand that shit from a different perspective. From a higher perspective. From the actual perspective. It's a reason why you can't go to the Grand Canyon. It's a reason why you can walk through the woods and then all of a sudden you come up on a government sign telling you don't go past this point or you're going to get locked the fuck up. It's a reason. Ain't nothing on this land supposed to be closed off to the people that are here. What the fuck? We are free ass people. What you mean the government own a piece of the forest? Bitch, this our forest. But you stumble into some shit. That moon that we got, that ain't the moon that we started with. This shit is deeper than just some motherfucking, you know, what they try to make it. It's way deeper. It's way deeper. You know what I'm saying? Way fucking deeper. It's a reason why we came back here. And for the majority of us, if you back now, especially if you're a millennial or Gen Z or whatever, this ain't your first rodeo. This is not your first rodeo. This is not your first lifetime. That's why you come back and, like I said, you reawaken. Because you was already here. And you was already knowledgeable of what the fuck was going on. You know what I'm saying? We was a people who didn't need to talk. And if you look at how black people communicate, especially black Americans, we don't gotta necessarily talk to communicate. Ain't nobody ever asked why. Ain't nobody ever want to get more information on how the fuck we can look at each other, have a whole conversation in our head, and you understand exactly what the fuck I said. Even down to the way we communicate with babies. You can look at a toddler, and they know exactly what the fuck you saying. You can look at your kids right now, and they know exactly what the fuck you saying. You ain't said a word. Ain't no words left your lips. But they know exactly what the fuck you just said. And they gonna act accordingly. It's a fucking reason for that. You gotta start. Spirituality starts with asking basic questions. Don't ever let nobody make you think that in order for you to be spiritual, you gotta have all of these high def ass 4K ass questions. Like, how is a Pythagorean theorem and this, and what is the circumference of, like, fuck no. It started with basic ass questions. How the fuck you know what I just said and I just looked at your ass? Why do black people hum when they do shit? Them the questions you need to be asking. Basic ass questions. Why do niggas be humming all the time? You know what I'm saying? What's the purpose of that? Why do we like music so much? What is our obsession with fucking music and bass and instruments and, you know what I'm saying? What is rhythm? And why do we have the best rhythm out of any body of people on this earth? And this is why I said that shit goes hand in hand with science. You can't ignore science. That's why I can't stand religion sometimes, because they try to ignore science. There's a scientific reason of why we have the most rhythm. That shit is scientific. It is literally the makeup of your body, your bones. Your bones is the reason why we so motherfucking why we can dance and why we can sing, because our bones are thin. So they transmute energy way more easily. Energy passes through our body way more easily. So we're able to move more according to the rhythm or the frequency that we're being presented with. People who are not melanated have thicker bone structures. Their bones are thicker. That's why they don't have no fucking rhythm. It takes them way too long to decode the frequency. Look this shit up if you think I'm lying. It goes hand in hand. You can't have one thing without the other. You can't look at spirituality and not embrace science. You can't look at spirituality and not embrace astrology. You can't look at spirituality and not embrace mathematics or numerology. You can't look at spirituality and not embrace genealogy or biology or any of the motherfucking ologies. You gotta look at all that shit. You gotta look at all that shit. Period. That's just that on that. That's just that on that. Don't ignore anything. Question everything. Ask questions about every fucking thing. And this is why it goes hand in hand with ancestry. Because that's when you tap into your ancestors. They be like, hey, I'm trying to figure out this information. I need y'all to connect me. You know what I'm saying? Connect me to this. Connect me to that. Show me. Look. Listen, I'm trying to figure this shit out. I need y'all to connect me. And then intuition plays a part. Because after you say that, hey, connect me, then intuition going to be like, all right, here's a connection. Do this. Go here. Look up this. Look up that. And you got to operate in patience. Right? Step by step. There's certain things. It took, I may have asked the question or been trying to figure it out. And it may have took me 6 months, to a year to get to the answer I was looking for. But that's because there was a process to it. I had to get the basics of it first. It's like when you a kid, right? And you in elementary school and you ask a specific question. You won't be able to really grasp that answer until you've gotten maybe to 10th grade. Because all of the grades in between 1st and 10th is going to set up the playing field and give you all of the background knowledge and the foundational knowledge so that when you finally get that answer, it clicks. That's why patience is important. That's why moving according to your intuition, not trying to rush it, is important. Because there's certain things that have to set the foundation so that when you finally get aligned with whatever you're supposed to be aligned with, whenever you figure out whatever you're supposed to figure out, it all adds to all of the other shit and it makes sense. You're not missing anything. Because if they give you the answer now without you going through the process, you're not going to know what the fuck to do with it. And then you're going to have to work backwards to get the information that you should have had first. So you got to be patient with this process. You got to take your time with this process. You got to listen to that intuition and be okay with listening to the intuition with no confirmation, with no, validation, with no good jobs. And yes, that's the right thing. You got to be able to stand 10 on whatever your intuition is saying, whatever your gut is saying. Knowing, not believing, because believing is lack of knowledge. Believing is lack of proof. Not believing, not hoping. Knowing that shit is going to make sense eventually. Knowing, right? You don't have to be faith-based with spirituality because the shit is going to happen. So you can know. I always say don't have no expectations. The only expectation is that I will be aligned with what is for me. That's my only expectation in this life. I don't have no expectations outside of that. I just know I'm going to be great. I'm going to do great things. And I'm going to align with the shit that's for me. That's just that on that. You know what I'm saying? You could call me Poca. My friends call me what my friends call me. That's it. Knowing. That's another reason why I stepped away from religion, because y'all don't know. Y'all gotta believe. If everything that you said was true, you wouldn't have to believe, babe. We believe in shit that we can't see. We don't know. We don't have no knowledge. We don't have no background. We don't have no proof. So you gotta put faith there. You gotta believe. You gotta hope. You gotta wish. I'm not trying to be doing that when it comes to who I am and the way I structure my life. I'm not building my life upon a hope. That's crazy as hell. I'm not about to structure my shit around around faith. No. Hell nah. As a spiritual being, I know. And it took going through shadow work. And remember, shadow work is an ongoing process. So if anybody tell you, if you hear any type of spirit just be like, oh, I did my shadow work already, run the fuck away from them. I mean, haul ass. I mean, get the fuck quick. And tell them Poca said, I gotta get the fuck away from you. You know what I'm saying? Because healing is ongoing. There's always something to heal. There's always a way to better yourself. And when you think of that shit as self-development, you never stop developing self. Who the fuck would want to stop developing anyway in the first place? No real person who really, seeks knowledge and wisdom would ever want to stop developing. And nobody worth listening to will ever stop learning. Why the fuck am I listening to you and you're not even willing to learn? You think that you got all the information, all the knowledge already. That's crazy. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? As a spiritual person, anytime I'm presented with new facts, I'm going to adjust my way of thinking. That's what you're supposed to do. And mind you, I said facts, not information, because there's all types of information out here. All right? I can be informed to whatever. But we talking about facts, proof. Validated, proven, concrete evidence. Anytime that presents itself, I'm going to adjust my ways of thinking. I'm going to adjust whatever I need to, my perspectives, to fit that new information. So that I am ever evolving, ever ascending. So if I get new information on my own energy, I need to change that shit. Why the fuck am I still acting like that? Now that I know, when I know better, I do better. If I am awakened to new information about the world, I'm going to adjust my way of thinking. Period. I had to walk away from a lot of belief systems based on what society made me or tried to convince me to believe. Especially in regards to people who look like me and you. That all skin folk and kinfolk shit hit even harder when you start really tapping in. And you start asking questions. Why the fuck do this person got a holiday, but this person don't got no motherfucking holiday? Why Michael X don't got no motherfucking holiday? Fuck out of here. That's an agenda. You trying to convince my people of some shit. I ain't with that shit. Hell nah. Baracko who? Fuck that nigga. You give a fuck? What? You start looking at this shit, you be like, what? Fuck them. Who? The fuck? You ain't really tapped in spiritually until people start looking at you shiesty. My family hate to see me coming. They stop asking me questions. Don't ask me nothing, because everybody about to be pissed the fuck off in this bitch. I ain't been to an MLK cookout since. Yeah. Middle fingers up to him. Fuck is you talking about? You're not celebrating this motherfucking sellout. Is you crazy? I ain't celebrating nobody in the boule. If you know, you know. Fuck out of here. And if you don't even know what that is, you can't even have no conversation with me about none of these motherfuckers and none of these fuck-ass holidays. You ain't researched enough to have a conversation. You ain't researched enough to have an opinion on what the fuck I'm talking about. You gotta start carrying shit like that. Because there's always motherfuckers who just listen to what everybody else told them that want to try to tell you wrong about some shit. Bitch, when the last time you read a book that they didn't give you in school? When the last time you picked up some information that went against what you was taught? If you not stepping like that, you can't have no conversation with me. You can't tell me nothing. There's nothing you can offer me. And people look at you like, oh, you think you this, you think you that. I don't think I'm anything. I know that we not on the same up. And people look at you like, oh, you think you this, you think you that. I don't think I'm anything. I know that we not on the same motherfucking level. I don't have to think. It's pretty evident here. We're having a conversation right now. You don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. You're going to realize a lot of these people have taller mentalities. What do a taller do? Whatever the fuck you tell them to do. Whatever you show them to do, that's what a taller does. They don't think for themselves. They look and they follow. They learn by what they see. They see you doing a certain thing, they're going to follow and do the same shit. Monkey see, monkey do. That's what toddlers do. You're going to realize so many of these motherfuckers around you are toddlers in the head. I don't care how old they are. Remember, if time don't exist, age don't exist. So I don't give a fuck. I done got into it with my granny. Girl, listen. You don't want to have this conversation with me, Pookie butt. Okay. Let's just talk about something else. Let's keep the conversation where it's safe at. Because once you get me started, it's uppy. It's up. Yeah, age don't exist and time don't exist. Y'all gotta remember that we're infinite beings. We have no idea how long we've been here. We consciously don't have an idea. Subconsciously, of course, we know. We know everything subconsciously. But consciously, we have no idea how long we've been in existence or how many lifetimes we've actually had in this specific realm. We have no idea. So you definitely not the age that you think you are. And your soul is ageless because it's infinite. It can never die. So to count the ages would just be pointless. That would be pointless. That's why celebrating birthdays, that shit is a spell. There's a lot of things that they put in place so that you can physically age, mentally age. You know what I'm saying? But that's why they say, like, the millennial generation, they be like, oh, y'all still act like kids. Y'all still, no, we just don't emphasize shit like y'all emphasize shit. We still live our lives like we learning. You know what I'm saying? It was different for the generations before us because they acted like they was grown. They acted like they had all these responsibilities and they acted like they was too grown to do certain shit. Shit, every millennial I know, we still watching motherfucking cartoons and eating cereal and motherfucking painting and drawing and coloring and using color pencils, and we got fucking coloring books and shit and hula hooping and jump roping, and we not what the fuck? I don't know no millennial that's not still watching cartoons. And if they are one, it's they got the same mentality where they trying to forcefully act like they grown or something. Yeah, man, fuck all that. I'm not doing that shit. Most of us realized at an early age that shit wasn't it. You know what I'm saying? We had a lot of adult experiences at a young age. Again, a lot of us have been here before. So we had responsibilities at a young age that you would find, a grown person having, taking care of siblings, taking care of our parents, you know what I'm saying, being emotionally responsible, raising ourselves, being our own, emotional foundation. Like we had to do all that shit for ourselves. So the more you get into your awakening, the more quote unquote childlike you become. The more you align with your spiritual self, the more childlike you become. You don't feel no need to be out here trying to prove to people that you grown. I don't need to prove I'm fucking grown. That's crazy as hell. Yeah, that should be pointless. Ain't nobody doing all that. We kids forever. And we understand that. With the mentality of understanding that we're always learning, we're always evolving, we're always changing, we're always growing. We're not in no know-it-all ass mentality. All the generations before us was fucking know-it-alls. You know what I'm saying? They was all fucking know-it-alls. They thought they knew every motherfucking thing. Fuck that. We are learning, and we don't mind learning. Most of us. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is not meant to wake up this lifetime. So you know, I can't generalize it completely. I'm a Gemini, babe. You know, most people they not supposed to get it this lifetime. It's not their lifetime. It's either not their lifetime to get it, or they're content with where they are, and they trying to fit into this cookie cutter mold that society has created. You know what I'm saying? They still trying to prove themselves to motherfuckers that don't matter. So they're not pushing themselves to understand the ultimate goal of this shit, which is to experience. We here to experience and not control. We not here to control shit. We control things outside of this realm. So this is not a realm where you're supposed to be trying to control shit. Right? We're powerful beings placed in. It's like when you play a video game. You can't control the video game. It has rules and regulations. You as the player, you can do whatever the fuck you want. But when you play in that game, you're confined to the rules of that game. However that game goes. You can't rewrite the fucking codes for the game just because you don't want to do something. That's what this shit is. This shit is a game. And it has a set rules, set regulations that we have to conform to whether we want to or not. There are certain things that we just got to do whether we want to or not. You know what I'm saying? We have control over certain things just like you got control over certain things in a game. Right? You can do certain things to create certain results just like you can on the game. It's like GTA. I can drive around the city all day if I want to. But if I'm on a mission, I'm on a mission. The mission got rules. The mission got regulations. The mission got a timestamp on it. There's certain shit that got to be done. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that have to happen. But if I just want to, fuck around on the game and just, beat the lady up crossing the street and go rob the store and whatever. I mean, you could do all that. But once you go on a mission, you on the mission. It just is what it is. So some people want to fuck around. They don't want to, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to play the game, not in the sense where you're conforming to the rules, but they don't want to play the game for what it is. They don't want to acknowledge it for what it is. We're here for a reason. We're not here to just fuck around. The point of GTA is not for you to just drive around the city and rob people. It's to complete the missions. You know what I'm saying? It's to complete the game. There's an ultimate agenda here. It's not just for you to, pimp out your cars and all of that shit. You could do that. But that's not the overall goal of the game. The goal of the game is to complete the missions. So you beat the game. You know what I'm saying? That's what this shit is. We here to beat the fucking game. Absolutely. Figure out what your mission is. And the only way you can do that is first you got to start healing. As you heal, you level up. As you heal, you're exposed to more information and knowledge that you wasn't at first. Because you ascend. Remember, everything is on an energetic level. Everything is on an energetic level. So if, because of my traumas, I'm at level 1, there's no way I can see what's on level 10. It don't matter how hard I fucking try. It don't matter. I'm never going to see level 10. I got to do the work to move from level 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9. And then when I get to 10, I can see what's at 10. You know what I'm saying? If somebody on the 10th floor and they're like, hey, they looking out the window. They're like, hey, you see that shit over there? I can't see that shit from the first floor. It don't mean that it's not there. It means I'm not where you at. I can't see it. This is another reason why as you ascend, you leave people behind and they can't see what the fuck you see. And the problem that a lot of y'all got, and I feel like this is Spirit's moment to kind of check out a little bit, y'all be expecting for motherfuckers that you left behind to see what the fuck you see. Bitch, you on a 20th floor. These niggas still on floor 5. And you pointing the shit all the way across the way. Hey, you see that all the way over there? They don't fucking see that. And because they can't see it, you think that it's not there for real. Oh, maybe it's not there. All the people I know, they can't see it. All the people I know, they can't see it. They don't know what I'm talking about. So it must not be there. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I made it up in my head. Maybe I'm delusional. Maybe I'm going crazy. No. Stop expecting motherfuckers that you left behind to see what the fuck you see on your new level. If you talking about you gonna quit your job and do something, and they like, I don't know why you gonna do that. Why would you do that? That don't make sense. You see the economy right now? Wop the wop the wop, woo the woo. And you like, you know what? You right. No, they not fucking right. They not right. They not. What the fuck? They're not right. Cause you run into a motherfucker like me that's like, oh yeah, do that shit. Did your intuition tell you to do it? Now that's what I'm gonna ask you. That's my question to all my friends. My friends text me, sis, best friend, I'm thinking of doing X, Y, and Z. Bet. What your intuition say? Cause who am I to tell you not to do that shit? I don't fucking know I don't know your path. I don't know your plan. I don't know what you here for. Just cause I'm your friend, just cause we cool, that don't mean I know your purpose. I'm just gonna want to make sure that you know that this is coming from a place of truth, a place of depth. Did your intuition tell you to do this? Is this something that you was led to do? Do you feel intuitively guided towards this thing? Did you consult your spirit team? If all them answers is yes, I'm standing behind you 10 toes. That's it. I don't need no more information. I don't need no motherfucking proof. An economy, fuck the economy. When you operate in alignment, don't none of this shit affect you. None of that shit affects you when you operate in alignment. Keyword alignment. When you're doing the things you align to fucking do. People run into issues because you just doing shit because you just doing shit. Or you're just doing shit because you see dollar signs. But let me tell you this right now. Your life purpose don't got shit to do with money. So if you feel called to do something, your question shouldn't be, is this going to make me some money? Fuck the money. One thing I did take from my grandmother, she said, your gift will make room for you. Your gift will make room for you. That means whatever you're supposed to be doing, the opportunities, the doors, the experiences, all that's it's going to be there for you because you're supposed to be there. Everything you need will be there when you get there. You just got to fucking get there. You just got to get there. And you have to move with, again, an inner knowing. I know this shit going to work out for me. I don't know how. You don't need to know how. That's what makes the experience the experience. I don't know how the road trip going to go, but I know that eventually I'm going to make it to wherever the fuck I'm going. Who knows what's going to happen while I'm on my way to the destination? It can rain, it can snow, it can be sunny. I might see a horse, I might see some cows, I might see some mountains. I might see some motherfucking pastures or flowers. I don't fucking know. But I know eventually I'm going to get to the destination. That's how this shit is. It's a road trip. I don't know what I'm going to see on the road. That's what makes the shit fun. And we be taking the fun out of life. We be taking the excitement out of the experience because you want to know all the fucking details. Fuck the details. Fuck the details. And of course, it's harder said than done. Of course. Everything is. Everything is. But when you start falling in love with the experience, you start falling in love with the trip, when you get to the destination, it's going to hit even fucking harder. That shit going to feel like the cherry on top. And the reason why it be sucking for a lot of people is because you're not enjoying the ride. You're just hyped to get there. So it feels like you're waiting for something and you're waiting for something and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting and then you're growing impatient and more impatient and more impatient instead of enjoying it the whole fucking time. The ups, the downs, the roundabouts, the roller coaster moments. You enjoying all of that shit for what it is. So by the time you finally get to your destination, it's like, damn, I had all this fun and I still get my prize at the end. I've been enjoying the ride. Shit. I mean, I forgot that there even was a prize at the end. Fuck. I done had so much goddamn fun meeting new people, learning new shit, working on myself and becoming a better person and changing and growing and shifting and learning this and going through this and blah, blah. I forgot that I was even supposed to get this at the end. Damn, that shit feel like some extra shit. It's like, shit. It's like when you order a package and you be doing so much in between, you forget that you ordered the shit. That shit finally come and you be like, oh, fuck, I forgot I ordered this. It's just a cherry on top. That's what this shit should be. The goals that you have, and when I'm talking about the goals, I mean the social goals that we have. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I want to be a business owner. I want to have a multi-million-dollar business. I want to have this and have that. I want to have this type of car, this type of house, blah, 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 blah. Start falling in love with your journey. Start falling in love with the fucking journey. I'm trying to tell you, it all has a purpose. And what will make you enjoy the journey more is figuring out why certain things are happening. Why the fuck is this happening to me? Why am I going through this specific thing? It may be uncomfortable for me. Maybe I got to leave this relationship, but let me figure out why this relationship is not for me. Maybe I got to leave this job, or maybe this job leaves me. You know what I'm saying? Somebody on the live yesterday said they got fired. I said, congratulations. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Why did that happen? What was the purpose of me leaving? What was the purpose of them leaving me? What was the purpose of me separating from these people, or distancing myself from these people, or no longer having access to this, or, you know, taking away access to myself from this person, from that environment, blah, 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 blah. Why is my tire flat at the last minute, knowing that I got shit to do? I'm on my way to this interview and I got a flat tire. Why the fuck is this happening? Spirit, what are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to show me? What are you trying to align me with? Yes, it's happening for you and not to you. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? You never know. Your motherfucking tire may have went flat because that's not the job for you. And Spirit would have known if you got there, you would have got the job. And if you got that job, then you wouldn't have kept looking and finally found a job that was for you. But you so caught up in, I'm upset and I'm mad. And not understanding that that's something that was working for your benefit. You mad that you and this person can't get it together and y'all relationship not working out. Not understanding that your husband, you'll meet your husband in 3 months if you just leave this motherfucker right now and do what you're supposed to do. You don't even see. Because, again, you don't see your future self having those specific things. You're looking at your life based on who you currently think yourself to be. And just because you see yourself in this current position doesn't mean that's who you are or that's who you're supposed to be. That's what shadow work teaches us, that we have a false idea of self based on the things we've experienced, based on the situations we've gone through, based on the people who were a part of our lives. It created this false sense of self. So you're thinking of yourself as a fucking 2 and really you an 11. So Spirit trying to give you 11 shit and you got your mind focused on 3 shit because you a 2. So a 3 is an upgrade for you. You're like, I just want some 3 shit. You know what I'm saying? I just feel lucky if I get some 4 shit. You boxing yourself in. You don't even realize that's what you're doing. You boxing yourself in. You're not supposed to get nothing on no motherfucking level of a 4. You a 20. You know what I'm saying? You a motherfucking 20. You a 30. You a 50. But your past and your present that convince you that you a motherfucking 2 max. So you'll be happy if you just get a 10. You'll be happy if you just get a 15. You get a 15, you feel like you accomplished everything in life. When really you supposed to have a 50. Your life is being set up so you can have a motherfucking 50, a 60, a 70. But you can't even fathom that. That sounds diabolical to you. That sounds like some motherfucking made up movie shit. Like, what? I never had that happen to me. Because your past has convinced you, your present idea of self has convinced you that that's not something that you're going to be able to obtain. And you living your life like that. You living your life based on that bullshit. All because you're not taking time to look inward. And go back. We don't go back to relive. We go back to reflect and learn. Okay, so when I was 5, this particular situation put me in my head and convinced me that love looks like this. Okay, when I was 10, this particular situation convinced me that I'm not worth this, and that. Okay, so when I was younger, That one time that my mama said whatever she said to me, it hurt me and it made me feel like I'm only good enough for this and only good enough for that. And you've been living your life like this, living your life like this, living your life like this every single day. You've been subconsciously telling yourself that you only good enough for this. You're only worthy enough for this. So you pick people based on what you think you're worthy of. That's why when you tap in spiritually, you lose all of the motherfuckers that you started with. Because all them people you attracted based on who you thought you was, not who you actually was. So when you start aligning with who you actually are, they gotta go. They gotta go. That relationship gotta go. Them people gotta go. That job gotta go. Sometimes you gotta move out of state. You gotta move to a whole different part of the world. It gots to go. Because all of that was based on your false sense of self. Period. And that's the hardest part of this journey, is those moments of isolation. And it's not just one. We have multiple awakenings. You go through multiple layers and levels of ascension, multiple layers and levels of awakening. It's not just one. And anytime you're going through an awakening, anytime you're leveling up, you get to yourself, whether you want to or not. That's when you know you're going through another level of awakening. You stop being around people. You stop talking to people for real. You start cutting people off, or people start cutting you off. Relationships stop working. All types of shit start going wrong. Your job not aligning with you no more. The people not aligning with you no more. Family and friends ain't hitting the same. All type of shit start happening. You like, what the fuck is going on? Usually in our head, what we tell ourselves, I'm doing something wrong. Something is going wrong. No. No, baby. No. Nothing comfortable grows. I say that shit all the time. The pressure has purpose. Diamonds don't just become diamonds without pressure. They gotta get uncomfortable. If a diamond was comfortable, it would never be a diamond. It'd just be a fucking rock. And rocks don't got value. Rocks, they comfortable. They ain't got no motherfucking value. You see a rock and you walk over that bitch. You're not stopping for a rock. The world don't stop for a fucking rock. But you add a little pressure to that mixture? Shit. People pay top dollar for a motherfucking diamond. The more pressure it has, the more carats it has, top dollar. They'll move heaven and earth to buy that motherfucker. They're going to debt to get that bitch. And that's what life will start doing for you. You apply the right pressure. You know what I'm saying? You hold yourself accountable. You make the right moves. Not based on comfort, but based on alignment, based on purpose, based on necessity. What do I need to do? What is necessary for my life? The world will be at your feet. Because you just like that diamond. You showing up just like that diamond. That motherfucking pressure got you valuable. You valuable. People who take time to work on themselves are valuable people. Period. I don't give a fuck what your social life looks like. You don't have to have all the money in the world. You don't gotta be living in a motherfucking mansion and driving a certain type of car. You don't gotta have all that. That don't mean shit. That means shit to people who believe in materialistic things. But when we talk about spiritually, that don't mean shit. But if you working on yourself, educating yourself, tapping in, loyal to you, standing on business about you, you know what I'm saying? Valuable. Can't find nobody like you. And everybody is a one-on-one. But society don't teach you to be no motherfucking one-on-one. They want you to be a one of 3 billion. Multiple copies. That's why all these bitches got the same hairstyle, same ass, same nose. Everybody got the same haircut. Everybody got the same motherfucking belly button. Everybody got the same ears. You know what I'm saying? They want you to be a copy of the next and a copy of the next because there's power in your uniqueness. In the age of Aquarius, uniqueness is the way. I've been telling y'all that shit since what, last year? You will win if you step into who you are. That's the only way you're going to win right now. We're in a whole new paradigm. Age of Pisces is over, where everybody just, being la fucking land. All the illusions, all that shit is over with. You either unique, you operate in originality, you be who the fuck you supposed to be, unapologetically, or you have nothing. Look at how social media is shifting. Celebrity status, ain't no fucking celebrities. We don't give a fuck about celebrities. There's people that's sitting on TikTok like me, sitting on Twitch like me, and they making shitloads of money, and they got endless motherfucking people subscribed to them, looking at them, paying attention to them all day. Why? Because they're being themselves. They're operating in their unique power. That's what the fuck is winning right now. Don't nobody want to see no copy of no fucking body. People tired of saying that shit. They don't want to walk around and see the same people doing the same shit, talking the same, acting the same, posting the same bull. Don't nobody want to see that shit. That shit is over and done with. Celebrities don't have the same status. You could walk past a celebrity right now and won't nobody really give a fuck. They just like, oh, guess who I saw today? Yeah. And then move on to another topic. Whereas maybe 10, 15 years ago, you see a celebrity, oh my God, you won't stop talking about that shit. You talk about that shit forever. It don't matter what kind of celebrity you seen. If you just seen one, you don't give a shit. Oh my God, you won't believe who I seen today. Now, people don't give a flying fuck. Bitch, we don't care. We don't give a damn. Y'all see how these people reacting to Beyonce? Beyonce dropped. She always do a tour around tax season. They going to use your ass. All these people like, oh, I won't be going. Oh, I'm not going. Oh, fuck it. I just miss out on this one. Oh, well, fuck it. I just, whatever. Just, fuck it. They don't give a fuck about that girl no more. They're not spending their hard-earned money on this hoe to get up there and sing in cowboy shorts. They don't give a fuck. Girl, we will watch the motherfucking clips on TikTok for all of that for free. $1,700 and $2,000 motherfucking tickets. Girl, we is paying $7 for eggs right now. Do you think we give a fuck? Ho, is you cool? Is you fucking cool? Taxes or no taxes? Have you bumped your motherfucking noggin? Don't nobody give a fuck about that girl no more. Shit is changing. And it's only going to progress with time. That whole celebrity status shit is out the fucking window. It's out the fucking window. People want authenticity. There's a desire for authenticity. That's why I've been telling y'all. And I've been telling y'all this shit since last year, bro. I tell y'all shit all the time before the shit really started happening. If you are, especially in content creation or for real, anything that you're doing, show up authentically. Show up as you. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you a fucking phlebotomist and you drawing blood. Do that shit your way. I don't care if you ringing up groceries. Do that shit your way. Be you. Unapologetically. You're going to get way more success. Right now, success is being deemed by your ability to be you. You're being rewarded for being yourself. This is the season to get paid, to create a living off of being who you fucking are. Not who you think that you are based on your past. Not who you think you are based on your traumas. That's why I've been telling y'all to do y'all fucking shadow work. So that you can start showing up authentically. You know what I'm saying? Showing up completely unique. Bringing your own spin to whatever the fuck it is that you're doing. If you're doing content creation, just post the shit. Just do it. Don't be in your head, oh, what do I think is going to go viral? What do I think is going to get the audience? Fuck all that. Just post. Make the fucking video. Put the shit out there and don't think about it and keep it fucking pushing like it's nothing. You put too much energy into shit and then you wonder why it don't happen. It's overwhelmed. The energy is over fucking whelmed. It don't know what to do. So it's not gonna do shit. It's fucking overwhelming. What the hell? Just do the shit and then forget about it. Show up and then forget about it. Do what you need to do and then fucking forget about it. You know what I'm saying? That's all you gotta fucking do. Overthinking it, trying to be too strategic and plan it all out. And on Monday, I'm going to post about this. And then on Tuesday, I'm going to post this. And then on Thursday, we're going to circle back to this thing. And then on Friday, I'm going to approach it like, girl, nigga, boy, man, woman, just do the shit. Just fucking do it. As long as your intuition is telling you to do it, do it. You don't need no set day. Oh, on Monday, that's when I'm going to start going to the gym and I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm going to buy all of these healthy things. Go today. You thought about it today. Go today. You don't know what's there waiting for you. Maybe by Monday, if you go today, if today is Thursday, by Monday, there may be somebody that may have been paying attention to your ass, and now Monday comes and they gonna say something to you. They could be coming to you with a job opportunity. You never know where you're gonna meet destiny. You never know where you're gonna meet destiny. You never know when you're gonna run across destiny. You don't fucking know. Nobody knows. Destiny will show up where you least expect it. You sitting in the backseat of the motherfucking Lyft, or the Uber, or the bus, and there go Destiny sitting right beside you like, hey, you coming from work? Yeah, I had a long ass day, you know what I'm saying? I'm on my way home. Well, shit, I'm a hiring manager. I'm on a bus today because, my car in the shop right now, and I just wanted to, get back on the bus just to relive, for old time's sake, but I'm a hiring manager for this company. Shoot me your resume. You don't fucking know. And some of y'all just then in y'all head was like, that'll probably never happen to me. Just that quick. That's how quickly we X ourselves out of things because we think that shit is supposed to happen a certain type of way. Who the fuck said? Go watch the show on Apple TV. Ptolemy Gray, I think is the name of the life or something of Ptolemy Gray, I think is the name. That shit will show you that destiny has no fucking appearance. It don't look a certain type of way. It don't sound a certain type of way. And you never fucking know how it's going to happen. Go watch that shit. I'm not going to give y'all everything that happens in there because I want you to experience it for yourself if you never watched it. It's on Apple TV. It's called... Let me look it up so I can give it to y'all. It's called The Last Days of Ptolemy Gray. I'm going to type it in the comments and I'm going to pin it. Go watch this shit. It's on Apple TV. If you don't believe in destiny, this shit will get you right. And how that shit can happen in any type of way, at any type of time. It don't look how you think it's going to look. It don't come the way you think it's going to come. All right, I pinned it. Mr. Nobody, I don't think I've seen that. I might have to check it out. But go check that out. Because a lot of us, because society has showed us, you got to remember, the people who try to convince you that things happen a certain type of way, most of them cheated the system. They paying it back right now. All these motherfucking celebrities that, you know, did all this shit and they famous and they, you know, they telling you all these stories about how they had to work all extra hard and just to get discovered by this person and do all of this and do all. Most of them signed they fucking lives away and they got the motherfucking deals. They got that motherfucking access. Don't let these people try to convince you that everything gotta be all extra. Get the fuck out of here. When you chosen and you operating in your life purpose and you doing what the fuck you supposed to be doing, you will stumble across your abundance. Minding your goddamn business. You just walk right into the door of your prosperity and be like, hold the fuck up. Minding your goddamn business. Don't let these motherfuckers try to convince you that it gotta be all these special effects. And even in the spiritual community, all that you gotta do is 369 method, and you gotta do this, and you gotta do that. And you just need to align and stop fucking worrying so much, and everything's gonna fall into place. That's all you gotta fucking do. Again, easier said than done. But you got a lifetime to get it together. So fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it. As long as you doing what feels organic to you, you will get to where you're supposed to be. It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. Don't worry about it. Don't overthink it. Don't make it all extra. Just operate in intuition. Alright? I'm about to hop off of here. Any questions? Final questions before I hop off? Thank you. I'm usually on between like 3 and 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I'm snowed in, so I'll be on here in the afternoons for this week. Cause I'm not going to fuck outside. That shit is dead. Do you hear mermaid sirens at night? I'm being so serious. I don't particularly hear mermaid sirens. I hear voices, spirits, but not mermaid sirens specifically. What year did you have your first spiritual awakening? 18. So 2013, 2014. That's when I first got conscious of the labels and the definitions of certain things that I had already been experiencing. But I had been experiencing like spiritual gifts and stuff since I was a kid. So that's when I started to pinpoint exactly what certain things was. So I would say that would probably be what I would consider like my awakening, because that's when I started to gain consciousness of like, okay, this is, what it is. Are you from the DMV? Yes, ma'am. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I don't know. Yes. I'm from Maryland. You're welcome. Can you talk a little bit about the fear of being perceived? Being perceived as what? I don't think you should have any fear of how people... The thing is, people gonna look at you a certain type of way regardless. There's nothing you can do about that. The same way you gonna look at certain people regardless of how they will want you to look at them. There's people that I've encountered that I'm sure will want me to look at them a certain way, and I never will. I don't give a fuck. They could change their lives and become a fucking nun tomorrow. I'm still gonna think they're a piece of shit. So you have to, it takes a time, and then depending on your specific traumas, your specific background, it may take longer than others. But for me, I never gave a fuck. I'm not gonna say I never gave a fuck. More so in like elementary school and shit like that, I cared about how people looked at me. But the older I got, especially when I got to middle school and by the time I got to high school, I didn't give a fuck. Okay? There was not a fuck for me to give. There was not a fucking sight. If anything, I love pissing people off. You know? I never wanted people to think that they knew me, ever. To this day, I don't never want nobody to think that they know me. Bitch, you don't know me. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody ever gonna say, oh, I know her for real. No, the fuck you don't. That's just me. I don't know if that's toxic or not. I don't think so. But, you know, that's how I feel today. I could feel completely differently about that tomorrow, next week. I don't know. But as for today, shit. Bitch, you don't know shit about me. You don't know Nathaniel about me. You understand? Nothing. What you think you know, you definitely don't motherfucking know. And then I tell people what I want them to know. So anything that they assume, you can assume whatever you want, because I'm not giving you details. So of course, it's human nature to assume when you don't know. When you gotta fill in the lines, that's human nature. I stopped taking that shit personally. Because I'm not about to sit here and give you a whole motherfucking testimony about everything that I am and everything I think and everything that I feel. I'm never going to do that. So, of course you want to assume certain shit. Because I'm not sitting here giving you no concrete yes or no. And I never will for certain stuff. So, people will always assume certain shit about me. But leave them motherfuckers guessing. I love when people try to assume what the fuck they know. And I just be sitting here like, bitch, you guessed it. And you was wrong. Like shit. I love it. But people gonna have an opinion regardless. You can do everything that people want you to do, and there's still gonna be other people that you piss off because they don't want you to do that. You know what I'm saying? You could live your life exactly how one person wants you to, but then you're going to piss off 7 million other people because they don't want you to do that shit. So you just got to get to a point where you realize that this life, the core of your life is about you. And the things that you do for yourself ultimately will help other people in some type of way, shape, or form. So fuck them. And then most of the people that got opinions, another thing, or another way I like to look at it is only spectators form opinions. Because them the only people that's still enough to watch. Anybody who moving, anybody who got motion, they don't got no motherfucking opinion of you. They too busy with motion. You know what I'm saying? I never get mad at a spectator for spectating. That's all you could do. You not moving. All a spectator could do is form opinions. They just sitting there looking at everybody and looking at what everybody doing. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? That's like niggas who play sports. It's always a motherfucker in the crowd who want to tell the motherfuckers what they should have did and how they should have did this and they should have passed the ball at this time and they should. Bitch, was you in a game? No. Why the fuck am I listening to you? You know what I'm saying? It's like the niggas who swear that they was supposed to go pro and they be at the gym. You know what I'm saying? Trying to act like they motherfucking NBA all-stars and shit. Like, bitch, you didn't even get accepted into the league. You here trying to tell all of us what the fuck to do. Like, what? Get the fuck out of here. You didn't even make it. You didn't even play overseas. The fuck? You trying to give us advice and be the fake ass head coach. If you don't get the fuck out of my face. We are playing in the gym, sir. We're in the gym right now. Thank you, Lexi. Yeah, help me hit my live goal before we get up off of here. You know what I'm saying? You in a motherfucking gym. Fuck out of here. You know? So, everybody gonna have an opinion. The only opinion that matters is yours. Because only you know all of the intricacies of your life anyway. You know what I'm saying? People are speculating based on what they see. And they don't see everything. They don't know what the fuck happened behind closed doors. They don't know what's going on in your head. They don't know all of the details of what you've experienced and what you've been through. They don't fucking know. They have no idea. So you're living your life based on you. What you see, what you know, what you've experienced, what you feel, so on and so forth. Thank you so much for the gifts. You know what I'm saying? So let them rock out. Shit. And if you want to talk shit, because you know I'm a Gemini, so I'm good for talking shit. Ask them what they doing. I love being like, oh, you got a lot of advice. How come you never took any of it? Huh? You think that I should do X, Y, and Z? You show me yours, I'll show you mine. You first. Where's your millions? Where's your millions? Where's your mansion? Where's your Mercedes? I'm confused. You know what I'm saying? You trying to give me advice on what to do and how to do this, and I should be doing this and I should be doing that. Where's your proof? Where's your pudding? The proof is in the pudding, right? Well, where the fuck is your pudding? Huh? I don't see it. I hit the damn. You don't follow your own advice, do you? Oh, you one of them people that can see other people's shit, but you can't see your own. Oh, got it. Oh. You have one-sided vision. Ah, copy. I didn't think about it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know. Oh, you're visually impaired. Got it. Interesting. Oh. Oh, got it. Copy. Interesting. Nice. Fuck them people. I stand on that shit 10 toes. Fuck all them people. Whether it's your mama, whether it's your granny, whether it's your aunties, your uncles, your sisters, your brothers, I don't give a fuck them all. Fuck them all. That's just how I feel about it. I done cut off my mama. I done cut off my daddy. I done cut off everybody. And you can't come back into my life until you acting like you want to be here. This shit is a country. And I will deport your ass. You'll be deported. And you can only regain access to this motherfucker if you come in the right way. Did you fill out your paperwork? Can I see your social security number? Let me see your ID. Let me run your name. The fuck? I'm too valuable to let anybody be in my space. And way too valuable to take anybody's motherfucking advice. Bitch. The fuck you thought I was normal? You thought I was regular? This hoe thought I was regular. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? This bitch thought I was typical. Silly rabbit. Woo! You know what I'm saying? You gotta laugh that shit off. And when you look at people's lives, I always say, your life is a reflection of your work ethic. So if I look at your motherfucking life, you know what I'm saying? Should I really be feeling some type of way about your opinion? Come on now. Be the fuck for real. You know what I'm saying? Some people just need to be the fuck for real. But it makes people feel better. You know what I'm saying? When they not living properly, they always want to pick out, things about other people. That's just because they insecure and they feel however the fuck they feel about themselves in their life. Especially when you start changing. That's when people got the most to fucking say. But for real, I would be mad too if all I could see was the bottom of my feet. Most of the people talking shit about you, they like this. I'll be mad too if I had to strain my motherfucking neck to look up at your motherfucking ass. I'll be pissed too. You know what I'm saying? All they can see is the bottom of your feet. And anytime they want to talk to you, they gotta do this. They neck hurting and shit. They fucked up. They feel disrespected. You know what I'm saying? This bitch got me looking at the soles of her feet. Who the fuck she think she is? You know what I'm saying? Neck hurt, I'd be pissed too. Shit. Tell them to get a massage or something. What Nikki say? Step your cookies up before they crumble. You know what I'm saying? I'm short. So anytime I gotta look up at somebody real tall, I be mad. I'm like, damn. Can you sit down? You know what I'm saying? Can you have a seat? Can we look eye to eye? This is not comfortable. So you gotta remember that. Anybody below you is always gonna be mad that they gotta look up to talk to you. So they're gonna come up with shit to try to make you feel insecure, to try to make you lower your vibration so that you can be eye level with them. Bitch, we'll never be eye level again unless you level the fuck up. Get on my level. What? Get on my level. What? Y'all better start listening to some of these motherfucking songs. I'm trying to tell you, be messages and that shit. Get on my level. What? They not on your motherfucking level, so they pissed. So they want to provoke you into leveling down. No, bitch. You gotta grow to see me. You gotta grow to have a conversation with me. It sucks, I know. I would be mad too. But oh well. Either people gonna be inspired or they're gonna be a fucking hater. You can't have both. You can't have fucking both. Period. Hell yeah. Exactly. Enough ain't never enough. I don't never get tired of growing. Do I get annoyed? Hell fucking yeah. Do I get irritated? Hell fucking yeah. And I'm never one of them spiritualists, spiritual leaders, shamans, whatever you want to call me. I go by all them titles. I'm never one of them people that's going to come on here and be like, yeah, spirituality is all about love and light and peace and prosperity and abundance. No, sometimes it's nuck if you buck. All right? Sometimes it's bitch. Who, mama? You gonna slap everybody in here? Who the fuck is everybody? I must be nobody then, because I can't be a part of everybody. I know the fuck I'm not a part of everybody. Y'all, you can't be too motherfucking nice. Fuck out of here. We protect things that are valuable. There's boundaries for things that are valuable. Fuck that. Sometimes you gotta check a motherfucker. Don't never think that spirituality means that turn the other cheek shit. We don't turn no motherfucking cheeks. Now there's a time and a place, and everybody don't deserve a response, right? That's intuitive. So sometimes your intuition be like, man, let that shit go. They just mad, they just sad, they just fucked up. And then sometimes you gotta make an example out of a motherfucker. Because there's other people watching to see, well, if they get away with it, then I can go try her. I can go try him. Well, let me set the record straight for all you motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Just one or two people, man, fuck them people. But you got people that'll try to play you in public. Whether it's energetically, whether it's physically, or what the fuck ever. I don't give a fuck. We from darkness before we from light. I better remember that. Balance is the key to spirituality. Not turning the other motherfucking cheek. How do you feel knowing what you know and seeing all these people out of sync? At first I used to feel like it was my responsibility to save everybody, but now fuck that shit. It's my responsibility to save the people that want to be saved. Everybody else, that's not my problem. They a part of somebody else's mission. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. There's certain people who are aligned with me to get something from me or to help me, because we all learn from each other, whether they supposed to help me, I'm supposed to help them, whatever. But then there's certain people who are out of alignment with me, and that's just not my fucking business. You know what I'm saying? That's not my business. I used to think that was my business, family included, people included. You know what I'm saying? But now, that don't got shit to do with me. Live your life how you live your life. Do what you're supposed to do, because that's your journey. You know? Everybody not meant to wake up either. Lots of NPCs, lots of bots, whether they look like you or not. It's a lot of them motherfuckers out here. So I don't waste my time on motherfuckers. That's like me, like they say, talking to a brick wall. Me screaming at the brick wall is not going to make it fucking talk back. I could sit there and give it all of the information and knowledge that I have in my motherfucking repertoire. That bitch still going to be looking at me standing the fuck still. You know what I'm saying? Oh, most definitely could be your mother. Could be anybody. Could be anybody. And you're not here for every soul that you was born connected to. You're here for the souls that's not here yet. Your biggest duty is to the people that's not even here yet. The motherfuckers who's not even conscious of life yet. The toddlers, the babies. That's who you here for. All the motherfuckers before you, your mama, your daddy, your granny, your aunties and uncles, they their own responsibility. You're not here to save them motherfuckers. You're not here for them. They don't even matter. If we being honest, they don't fucking matter. And that's a part of that childhood trauma healing, where you gotta make that decision to accept your parent for who the fuck they are. If they don't want to be a parent, they don't want to be a parent. If they not the parent that you need, they never gonna be the parent that you need, and you just gotta accept that and let that shit go, so you can focus on bigger matters. 'Cause they don't fucking matter. One day they not even gonna be here to matter. So you know. You just gotta focus in. But it's based on your purpose. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, none of our purpose is to come here and fix what happened before us. It is to stop it from happening again and introduce new energy. That's what we're here for. We're here to stop the shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like when they cut off the limb. If you got an infection and that shit moving up the motherfucking arm, like, look, we just gonna have to amputate. We here to amputate and discontinue the bullshit and reintroduce some new shit. That's our motherfucking job. We not here to rewrite history. History is history. That shit didn't already happen. That shit is gone, is over, and is done with. You know what I'm saying? Fuck them. Respectfully and disrespectfully, however the fuck they take it, fuck them. Create your own traditions. Create your own family dynamics. Family not just motherfuckers that you related to by blood. You get to choose family. Them relatives. Family, you get to choose. You get to create what the fuck you want your family to be. Who you want to be a part of your family dynamic. And you don't get that dynamic when you first start waking up, because you're not ready for all that. You haven't even turned into who you're supposed to be yet. You can't attract who you're supposed to be around if you're not even who you're supposed to be. That's why isolation is first. So you can get yourself in order. Therefore, starting to attract the people who align with you. And everybody not here for a season. Some people just here for a reason. Supposed to just learn. Again, experiencing. Maybe I was just supposed to be with you to make a baby. And that was it. That was the purpose. We made the baby. Now get the fuck. Maybe I was just supposed to be with you to learn something. I learned it. Now it's over. Get the fuck. Maybe we was only supposed to be married for 10 years. Them 10 years is up. Get the fuck. When we start holding on to shit, that's when we lose. That's when we get fucked up. That's when shit start going haywire. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not here for the long haul. We're here to experience, not control, and not to take control of people. That's controlling when you want to keep people forever and forever and forever. Fuck no, you're not supposed to have nobody forever. You're not supposed to have nobody forever. That's crazy business. You know what I'm saying? You gotta learn to let go. Learning to let go is all a part of this experience. And that could be the hardest thing, because a lot of us, we never had anything consistent. Dating back to childhood, you ain't really had no consistency for real. You got abandonment issues. This parent was in and out the house. You didn't really have a connection with this parent, even though they was in the house. You know what I'm saying? You were raised on inconsistencies. So you grow up and you want to be an adult and you want to hold on to everything because you don't want to feel how you felt as a child. That trauma is being triggered. Fuck that. Heal that shit so you learn how to walk away, mastering the art of detachment. It don't mean that you detach from everybody. It means that you detach from whoever you're supposed to when you're supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. I had to learn that shit. Being abandonment issues, I wanted to hold on to every motherfucking body. And I'm big on loyalty. So when it was time for me to get rid of a person I wasn't ready, that shit would drive me up a wall. I had to learn real quick. You don't belong to me and I don't belong to you. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. You gotta go with the flow of life. And sometimes the tide turns. And you don't get to determine when the tide turns. You know what I'm saying? There's, again, that intuition. Intuition not telling you, hey, you gonna meet this person, fall in love, and y'all only gonna be in love for like 5 years, and then that's it. No, you just supposed to experience every moment with that person, go through the motions, go through what you're supposed to go through, and when that day comes, master the art of detachment. That doesn't mean you don't grieve. That doesn't mean you don't miss the person. That doesn't mean that you don't cry and you don't let your feelings out. You still do all of that, but you don't hold on. You take the lessons, you take the experiences, you take all the good things that came from it, you keep that, you leave the rest. Eat the meat, throw out the bones. All right? All right, I'm about to hop off of here. I said that already, but I mean it this time. Love and light. I hope y'all got something from this. I'll said pause, right? I'll be posting this on YouTube, so make sure y'all subscribe to my YouTube. That link is in my bio. PocaSPEAKS on YouTube. This will be posted tomorrow rising around like 6:30-ish, 7 a.m. The playback for those who want to watch it from the beginning. If you came in a little late and you didn't get the beginning part, all of that, it'll be available. All lives get posted to YouTube, so anytime you miss anything, you can always go there to watch it. Shout out to all the new followers. Shout out to all the new people, the newcomers. Shout out to everybody that gifted. Are you hosting any classes? That's confirmation, because I was just sitting here thinking before I went live about what classes I wanted to offer for this month. I think I'm gonna do a shadow work and trauma healing class. Either towards the end of the month or the beginning of March. I'll keep y'all posted on that. If I do it, it'll be a 3-hour seminar. It'll be like $40. Something slight. Yeah, I'll figure out all of the details and the dates and stuff and let y'all know. But yeah, I'll do some more. I think this year Spirit is really calling me to do more ascension based things. Like, it's time for us to take it up another level. You know, I feel like I've been working on a lot of the basics with y'all. Especially the people who've been tapped in with me for a while. We've been going over the basics for a while. So it's time for us to take it up to another level. Because energetically we're moving to another level, and y'all gotta be ready for what the fuck is coming. Yeah, I gotta prepare y'all. That's part of my job. Hey, Bookie. Yeah, I gotta get y'all ready, honestly, because not saying that in a bad way. Like, don't jump to the negative, but y'all know I'm all about y'all being prepared so that you can take advantage of whatever you need to take advantage of. So I still got some more meditating and research to do to make sure that I have all the information first, and then I'll probably do a preparation for 2020. the official new year. I'm not gonna say 2025 because technically we're in 2025, but I may do a month. It may be a month long. For March, I might do a 4-week mentorship, collective mentorship, to prepare for the new year. So that'll probably be like 4 weeks. So the whole month of March, we'll probably do one Zoom call or something like that per week. And then I'll do lessons and exercises for each week. Something like that. So that we can shift accordingly. All right. So I'll keep y'all posted on that. If I do that, which more than likely I will, I'll have information and details by next week so that y'all can start paying on it or sending in your money and preparing for it. All right. I'm pescatarian. Yeah. All right. Again, watch the replay tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure that you follow. Make sure you turn on your live notifications for YouTube and for TikTok. Again, shout out to all the people who gifted. Shout out to all the people who liked, who commented, who shared. All of that. Pescatarian is seafood only. But yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do a reading. Usually Thursdays we do topics, but since I did a topic today, then tomorrow we'll probably do a reading or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I don't know. But I'll be on here probably around the same time, so it'll be after 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that'll be 5:30 Central, 2:30 Pacific. And yeah. All right. Love and light.